Happy NBA trade deadline day, Miami Heat fans. I am Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports. Welcome in as we have a full live show with coverage of every move that will go down over the next 2 hours before the deadline passes on 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll break down everything that has transpired for the Miami Heat, what moves still may be coming for Miami and Pat Riley before the deadline, and we'll react to what has happened across the league as well. But with an hour and 58 minutes until that deadline passes, I think it's a good place to start with the move that Miami already made today after the Jimmy Butler trade last night. If you did not watch our video we put out, that is perfectly fine. But the Heat made a separate move. It's not really a separate move. It's part of the Jimmy trade. It's just essentially been a 5-team deal. And the deal could still be expanding if we're going to be completely honest. The Heat and other teams in that Jimmy trade have not announced it, which means there are still potentially moving parts. But Miami gets Davion Mitchell from the Toronto Raptors in exchange for P.J. Tucker, a second-round pick, in cash. I like Davion Mitchell, the player, really good defender. Don't know if he'll start for Miami, but he's one of the top point-of-attack isolation guard defenders in the entire league. Not just saying that, like legitimately statistically proven, one of the best in the entire league. And you also get underneath the first apron in this trade by getting P.J. Tucker off of the roster. There is still some time for Miami to get underneath the luxury tax. They're about $2.8 million above that right now. I would expect Miami trying to trade a Haywood Highsmith, a Kyle Anderson, a Kevin Love to get underneath that luxury tax spot so they don't go into the repeaters offenders, as well as they open up a $11 million trade exception. They also would open up anybody else on the buyout market. Miami now can get aggressive on that end, but we'll break down everything for Miami in today's live show. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. And for the 100+ people watching right now, I think we'll start with this. Grade the Davion Mitchell trade. A, B, C, D, or F. We're not going to talk about the Jimmy Butler aspect of it yet. We will discuss that on today's show. But when you're just thinking about trading a second-round pick, P.J. Tucker, and a little bit of cash to get Mitchell from the Toronto Raptors, to get underneath the first apron, to be able to also have a point-of-attack defender potentially off the bench, give me that grade down below. We'll give some shout-outs to everybody in the chat. Nick is saying B+, Jonathan B, Xavier B, Moonlight says A++++. Can't give it an A+ personally because of the second-round pick being attached potentially, but Better says A, Tanya A+, David B, Victor A. I am going to give it a B+. I think getting Mitchell, the player, is an excellent deal for the Miami Heat, and I love his fit, and I love what he'll bring to this Heat roster, but I don't love the idea of attaching a second-round pick, because if you really think about it, folks, you traded in this deal, take away Jimmy Butler. But once you acquire Dennis Schroeder from the Warriors, you have essentially now traded Dennis Schroeder and 2 second-round picks for Davion Mitchell, because Schroeder went to Utah and you sent that 2031 second-round pick swap with Indiana to Utah to get Tucker. And then you attach another second-round pick to P.J. Tucker to get Davion Mitchell. So you traded Dennis Schroeder and 2 second-round picks for Davion Mitchell. I like Mitchell. It gives Miami a lot more financial flexibility underneath the first apron and a chance to get underneath the luxury tax as well. But I am not the biggest fan of losing 2 second-round picks in that deal. Do you know how to record, by the way? Yeah, so we'll do that because we'll just use the same read for Prize Picks the rest of the way. So why don't you just go to a full screen Prize Picks graphic, and then when you push that over, hit record, and then I'll go and we'll use this one for the rest of the night or day. All right, we do have to tell everyone about our live sponsor on today's show, and then we'll get the super chat on screen and continue the conversation surrounding the Miami Heat. But let's tell you about Prize Picks. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And the big game in football is almost here on Sunday. Don't miss out on the last football game the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for that game where you only need more than half a passing yard on Patrick Mahomes. Pair that up with one more stat projection that's right, and you can win real cash. Also, check out the promos tab to tell any of the Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tell a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. You can also still play daily in basketball, hockey, collegiate, professional. It does not matter. I've got an entry for tonight's action in the association. More than Kyrie Irving, 34.5 points, rebounds, assists. Less than Naz Reid, 6.5 rebounds. And then more than Anthony Simons and DeMar DeRozan combined, 40.5 points. You could also get weekly promotions on PrizePicks like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks selects certain player projections and discounts them up to 25% to provide even more value in your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, appreciate the 178 people just in the building hanging out with us. If you have not already, hit that thumbs up icon. It would help us out quite a lot. And we only have 19 likes. That's disappointing. Hit that like button right now. Help us get above that 50% like rate. Let's get closer and closer to 100 likes right now. Join us here for a lot of fun coverage regarding the Miami Heat. It would be greatly appreciated. So hit that thumbs up icon. I see a lot of people talking about Lonzo Ball. He signed a 2-year extension with the Chicago Bulls yesterday. So he will not be joining the Miami Heat, unfortunately. I would have loved to trade for him. I wonder if Miami would have been interested in Lonzo Ball if he didn't sign that extension. I guess we'll never know. But hit that like button, folks. 33 likes now. Let's get to at least 50 right now. Nate says unrealistic, but I want Keontae George. George was, he's a young guy. Yeah, he's a young prospect, so that's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. You could do the one you do love the Heat at the bottom. I think it's at the bottom of that list of listicles. Christian says, overall, what are your thoughts on Miami's moves before the deadline so far? I'm a fan. I am. Listen. I know a lot of people are bummed about Jimmy, and some people don't love the package they got in return for him. I am going to disagree with that because I don't think Jimmy was getting a lot of attention from other teams. I got to be honest. I don't. I think there was a very small market for Jimmy Butler. Now, the fact that Miami was able to get an impactful piece like Andrew Wiggins, but also get a first-round pick, that is something that makes me very happy. The first-round pick is what makes me the most happy. I love Wiggins. I actually think he's going to be a good fit, and I've already started to look at him and his numbers for the Heat and how he's going to impact this basketball team, which is going to be fun. But I think that first-round pick this year is going to be very important and crucial for the Heat, especially because this draft class and my early scouting and looking is very, very good. And we know Miami will be looking for a guard probably when you think of what Miami is going to look for in the draft. I know it's a long ways away to even think about this, but team needs true point guard to play alongside Tyler Hero, point of attack defender, and probably another wing creator / wing scorer. Ideally, your front court is set with Bam and Ware and Jovic off the bench for the foreseeable future. Maybe Jovic becomes a starter, but I got to be honest. I think I would start to turn my head to guards and maybe a wing creator as well in the draft. There's going to be a lot of players that we talk about from now until late June. I could promise you that. Another thing for you, cycling trades that have already happened, like that trade L3 graphic, cycling that is probably going to be helpful as well. Just to keep on showing people what trades have been made, what will be made, and stuff like that. A lot of people asking about Kyle Anderson. I'll say this, folks, and I think this is going to be fun. If you super chat, you will get on the screen of today's live show. If you comment something in the live chat with hashtag Heat in the comment, we will pull some of them up. Is that the trade L3 graphic? There should be a trade L3 graphic. But use hashtag Heat in your comments, and we might be able to pull it and get it on the live show and react to what you guys have to say. If not, so yeah. No, hold on. Let me see. Hold on, folks. There should be one. It's not in here. It should be a layer in here, like trade alert L3. Just have to link that sheet to the Trade Master graphics, and then you could push that. Nate says might as well go get faults. I'll say this. The Heat right now, after they got underneath the first apron, they are now eligible to sign someone in the buyout market that made more than the mid-level. If you remember last season when we talked about buyout targets for Miami, they ultimately signed DeLon Wright, but a lot of the targets for the Heat were limited because they could not get someone making more than $14, $15 million. That's you can't sign someone in the buyout market like that. So now that the fact that the Heat are underneath the first apron and still trying to get underneath the luxury tax, if they're able to do so, they could sign anyone. Now, I don't think it would happen because Ben Simmons is a client of Bernie Lee, the same agent of Jimmy Butler. But hypothetically, the Heat could not have signed Ben Simmons in the buyout market because he made $40 million before getting bought out if he got bought out. But if he were to get bought out, the Heat could now sign him. Same thing could be said by Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown is someone that could get bought out by the Pelicans after being traded by the Raptors in that Brandon Ingram blockbuster yesterday. The Heat have been interested in Bruce Brown a while. If he gets bought out, the Heat could then sign Bruce Brown in the buyout market, which is funny. We didn't even know this, but Anthony came in with a $2 super chat. Good Miami fits in the buyout market. I would say Bruce Brown, if bought out, is the number one guy that Miami would probably go after, just because I know that they've been interested in him in the past. I'm going to start to put together a list of buyout candidates. Who knows? Maybe the Raptors buy out P.J. Tucker, and P.J. could come back to Miami since the Heat clearly liked him a little bit. I'll say Dennis Schroeder's a buyout candidate. Don't know if Miami would go after him, but he's someone that I have my eyes on. Who are other ones? Andre Drummond could be bought out by the 76ers. Maybe if you ultimately trade Kevin Love before the deadline to get underneath the luxury tax, maybe Andre Drummond could be a buyout target to be a second round or a second backup off the bench for Miami at center. I'll say that. A lot of people coming in with comments. You know what? Appreciate Anthony, the $2 super chat. I think it's a good time to showcase our super chat menu on today's live show. And then maybe we can cycle through some comments and questions after we go through our super chat menu and stuff like that. I'm keeping an eye on if any trades go down today. NBA teams, Sham says that NBA teams are still making aggressive calls for KD. I don't think that will happen. You just got to go into the editor here and click into that 20 and fit text the box. Yeah. That's all you got to do. But here's our super chat menu. $5 gets your thoughts on screen. But to be fair, any super chat, you're going to get your thoughts on screens. Like Anthony, he asked buyout targets for Miami. If you want to guarantee a question to get on screen and become a talking point for Miami over the next hour and 45 minutes plus while we're live here on the channel for the deadline, super chat will do that. $10 super chats. I know a lot of people aren't happy with the way that Jimmy ended his tenure in Miami, but we got the vodka. We got some shots. $10 shots for Jimmy the rest of the way. Every time he sends you guys send a $10 super chat, I'm going to pour a shot out for Jimmy, and we'll tell you about one of my favorite Jimmy Butler moments because, boy, is there a lot of them. $20 super chat, as always, gets you into the Heat Report Hall of Fame. Gets your name on the 24-25 Heat basketball. Plus, we'll do a wheel spin, which I actually haven't told you about the wheel spin. We should have probably communicated about that beforehand. But $20 super chat gets you into the ball. And if we want to create a party, I got some Coors Lights I got my Murbanga, and we'll do a beer bong for a $50 super chat if we want to have some fun and party tonight and today at the deadline. Appreciate the 360 people watching and tuning in right now. Let's get this Anointed super chat on screen. See what Anointed had to say. $5 super chat. Gets his thoughts on screen. I'll be fascinated to see if we get a Kevin Durant update today. I don't think he will get traded, but I'm sure you never know. Anointed with the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. It's my birthday. Just got off work. What I missed? Well, Anointed, happy birthday. Everybody spam HBD in the chat for Anointed. Since we've gone live, nothing has happened in the NBA or for the Miami Heat. But if you missed it earlier today, the Heat did trade P.J. Tucker and a second-round pick to the Toronto Raptors to acquire Davion Mitchell, the point-of-attack guard who has been one of the best defenders at that guard spot in the NBA this season and over the last 3 or 4 years. He's a restricted free agent. I'll be intrigued to see what he ultimately does for Miami in terms of being a bench guard, a starting point guard. We'll see, but he is someone that I've had on my radar for a while. I don't know how many people are new subscribers off the channel, but if you go back 1 year, Justin, and I said this in our video we filmed earlier, and I'm not bullshitting you because I can pull up the receipts if I need to. I haven't done it yet. 1 year ago, maybe to the day, Justin, I talked about targets for Miami before the trade deadline after the Terry Rozier trade. Because Miami traded for Terry Rozier 2 weeks before the deadline, but the 2 weeks in between the trade and the deadline, there was a lot of buzz on if Miami could add a backup center to Bam because we still had Thomas Bryant, and that was an issue. But we also needed a point-of-attack guard defender. And their 2 targets that I vividly remember speaking about consistently was Day'Ron Sharpe from Brooklyn as a backup center option, and then Davion Mitchell as the lead point-of-attack guard trade target because I thought it would only cost 1 or 2 second-round picks, and I liked his fit as a backup guard to Terry Rozier. Evidently did not happen last year, but apparently it was someone that I was right about in terms of Miami always valuing. Now, would Miami have made this trade if Drew Smith was still on the roster and healthy? Probably not, but we'd also probably have Drew Smith starting for the Miami Heat if he never got hurt as well. But Drew Smith out for the year, obviously. The Heat have a need on the perimeter for defensive purposes. We've seen Eric Spoelstra complain about how poor the defense has been for Miami on the perimeter. You add 2 elite, not just above average, not just good, not just great, elite ball handling defenders in Andrew Wiggins and Davion Mitchell. The Miami Heat athleticism and defense just took a massive upgrade over the past 24 hours. Getting Andrew Wiggins and adding Davion Mitchell went from a below average perimeter defensive team to now you are one of the best. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding. And let's welcome in Justin for the first time today as well. Shout out to Justin. He's producing our live show today. Everyone spam your J's for Justin. Second time he's producing a Heat live show. He did a watch party a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but he is with us for our trade deadline coverage. Justin is actually a Lakers fan, but we'll not hold him against that. He's very excited about his move. But Justin, how are we feeling on deadline day?
Most wonderful time of the year, as they always say. I mean, even when there is no movement, there's always some exciting going on in the NBA, always big drama. So even if your team isn't participating, you can always get excited about opportunity, quite honestly.
Yes, you absolutely can. It is an exciting day. It would have been very exciting if Jimmy Butler was still on the roster and we were counting down the minutes until he might have returned to Miami, but I'm glad we are not doing that. I'm extremely happy that he is off the team. Not that I wanted to get rid of Jimmy just before all the chaos happened, but once all of the last 5 weeks have transpired of the back and forth, the rumors, the ugly breakup in the relationship between the front office and Jimmy Butler, the worst thing that could have possibly happened is having Butler return to the Heat lineup. in the locker room and take this into the offseason. So the fact that we have a clear resolution, Butler got his 2-year extension. He's in a spot where they can maybe contend in the West with Steph Curry. Miami got a first-round pick. They got a decent replacement in Andrew Wiggins as well. I'm glad each side got this off their hands, got it done, and each team and player can move forward now past this deadline, and the Heat are able to make potentially other moves as well. Now, this is a perfect way to show this, by the way. And let's revisit that trade, and then we'll get anointed Super Chats on screen. But this is obviously the blockbuster. Still an hour and a half to go until the deadline, but the Warriors got Jimmy Butler. The Heat got Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, a first-round pick, 2025, or top 10 protected. If it doesn't convey this year, it will be top 10 protected in 2026. And if it doesn't convey the next 2 years, it will be an unprotected pick in 2027. The Pistons got Lindy Waters, Josh Richardson, and a second-round pick out of this. The Jazz got Dennis Schroeder, and what I believe and have heard is a 2031 pick as well in the second round from Miami. And then the news that broke today for the Miami Heat, they rerouted PJ Tucker and a second round pick to get Davion Mitchell. So as of right now, the full haul for Miami is they traded away Jimmy Butler, Josh Richardson, and 2 second-round picks to get Andrew Wiggins, a first-round pick, and Davion Mitchell. That is where we stand right now. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and appreciate Anointed with the $10 Super Chat. Love the channel. Let's take a shot. Let's do it, baby. Appreciate you, Anointed, with the $10 Super Chat. I said $10 Super Chat's a shot of vodka, and we say something nice and remember Jimmy Butler for one last time, because after today, we're moving forward. I don't know if we'll talk about Jimmy really anymore, if we're going to be completely honest. It will be all about who's on the roster and who the Heat could add in the buyout market and the rest of the season. But we'll celebrate Jimmy a little bit today with $10 shots. The first memory that you just simply have to mention, I know there's other ones out there, and we'll get to them, but my personal favorite, 2023, first round, Heat, Bucks, Game 4, 56-point game by Jimmy Butler, coming back. What a game. What a game. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. Shout out to you, Anointed. Oh, shit, we just got a trade. We just got a trade. Sham Sharania reporting that Yusuf Nurkic has been dealt away by the Phoenix Suns to the Charlotte Hornets. Full trade details, we'll read it on screen, and then once the trade is built, I'm sure they'll message in production and we'll get it on screen. That's kind of the order of operations. Joey or Jack will message when it's built, and then we can use it on screen. The Phoenix Suns are trading Yusuf Nurkic and a 2026 first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Cody Martin, Vas Micic, the point guard that we talked about from Serbia, and a 2026 second-round pick. So the Suns move off Nurkic, which they've been trying to do. They attach a first-round pick to that contract, and they get Cody Martin and Micic. Nurkic has been bad. They obviously are trying to move off of him. They got Nick Richards from the Hornets. So that's 2 separate trades between Phoenix and Charlotte. They got Nick Richards. That was fascinating. And then now they get Cody Martin and Micic off the bench. Very interesting. Very interesting trade there by the Suns. 427 people watching. Let's get to 100 likes right now. I think it's a good time to get over the triple-digit like mark. We're at 81 likes. Hit that like button right now. Let's get over to the century mark. Let's get over the century mark. Should be easy, folks. Should be easy. Should be easy. What's up, Asia? There we go. We got over 100 likes. Appreciate all y'all. I think now is a good time to actually talk about what I think could happen with the Miami Heat, as we're, an hour and a half away from the trade deadline? Hour and 35 to be exact. There are 3 Heat trade candidates, and then when you get a chance, let's get that countdown box back up there. there are 3 candidates that I think we have to be on the lookout. Actually, 4. I'm extending this list. As we are an hour and 33 away from the deadline. Kyle Anderson, Terry Rozier, Haywood Highsmith, and then I would also attach Kevin Love onto this list. Why are these 4 players trade candidates? Well, after the trade with the Toronto Raptors, the Heat get underneath the first apron of the luxury tax, but are still before the first apron in the luxury tax. They are $2.8 million away from getting out of the luxury tax. That would save the Arisons, the ownership group, $24 million. That would also free up an $11 million trade exception for the Miami Heat. It would also allow the Heat to sign anyone in the buyout market they choose to go after. Now, they could do that anyway underneath the first apron. But we know that Miami is going to try to get underneath the luxury tax. 2.8 million is a very specific number, Justin. And that's why these 4 players we just mentioned are the ones that I'm looking for. Because Kevin Love makes $3 million. Terry Rozier, that would be a bigger trade, which they could trade Rozier away to a team and get someone back making $18, $19 million, and that difference gets them underneath the luxury tax. Marcus Smart, we'll talk about him in just a second. But they also could trade Kyle Anderson, who's making $8.8 million. That would get them underneath the luxury tax as well. Haywood Highsmith is making $5.5 million. I'm looking like a team like Detroit. Detroit has a overachieving roster right now. They do. Overachieving roster. $5.5 million contract Haywood. You get a good 3-and-D guy coming off your bench. Kind of takes the minutes of Ausar Thompson when he heads to the bench. Fits alongside Tobias Harris, Cade Cunningham. I could see Detroit potentially trading Haywood Highsmith or trading for Haywood. They send 1 or 2 second-round picks to Miami. They can absorb the contract without sending anything out. You get 2 seconds. You get underneath the luxury tax. There is really no role for Haywood Highsmith on this team anymore. Because when you look at the Heat roster, they have Andrew Wiggins going to be the starting 3. It's going to be the starting lineup is going to be Hero, Wiggins, Bam, Khalil Ware. Don't know who's going to be that 5th guy. Could be Duncan. Heck, maybe could be Davion Mitchell. I don't know. We'll see what happens, and we'll see who's on the roster past 3 p.m. today. But either way, you trade Highsmith because you have Hawkes off the bench. You have Nikola Jovic off the bench. And you start to think, well, if you keep Highsmith, he's your 4th wing guy behind Wiggins, Hawkes, Jovic. Is he really going to get that much playing time? You also have to consider playing Plau Larson, who's been showing you good minutes when he gets his number called, the 2nd-round pick out of Arizona. Like, they're just running out of room to play some of these other guys and young guys. Haywood is a valued member across the league. You can trade him for a 1 second-round pick, 2 second-round picks, get underneath the luxury tax. I think Haywood Highsmith should get traded because I don't want him to just rot on the bench, which I think might ultimately be the case after all the moves Miami has made thus far. And we'll look at some Heat trade targets here in just a second. But we got another $5 super chat from Anointed. Shout out to him. He's bringing the juice today. Any Scary Terry trade rumors? No, unfortunately not. I've been keeping my eye on if there's anything being reported about the Heat looking to move off of Rozier. I don't think they are. Let me check my little spot here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to read. I haven't looked at this today, but I don't think there has been a report about the Heat being interested in moving off of Rozier. Let me see. Hold on. I'm just going through. I'm still looking. Still looking. I'm looking for Terry Rozier rumors. Don't see any. Don't see any. So I don't think Terry Rozier is on the trade block right now for the Heat. Should he be? Yes. But I don't think he is. We'll see though if anything materializes. I hope he does get traded. I hope he does. That'd be my goal. Coop says, would you take Randall for Rozier in a second? Ugh, no. He plays as bad as a brand of basketball as anyone out there. That is Julius Randle. Julius Randle is just the big man version of Terry Rozier. Joshua says, is there a way we get Cam Johnson? What is his contract? Hypothetically, yes. You can trade Terry Rozier and one of your young guys for Cam Johnson if you really wanted to. I don't think Miami would do this, but hypothetically, Miami could reroute that first-round pick they got from Golden State. So this is what I would probably offer to Cam Johnson if the Heat wanted to do that. Will they? No. Terry Rozier, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and the 2025 Warriors pick you got from Jimmy for Cam Johnson. That's what I would offer. If they accept, then they do. If they don't, they don't. If you wanted Cam. But I wouldn't disagree. You still would have a hole at point guard, but a lineup of Hero, Cam Johnson, Wiggins, Ware, and Bam that has spacing, that has shooting, that has versatility, length, defensive. I mean, that would be an interesting lineup to say the least. Still have an issue at ball handling. No doubt about that. But that would be fascinating. Let me pull up Fanspo and see what the financial implications would be on that. Heat Nets. Is Davion Mitchell added to this yet? No. He is not. Or he is. Shout out Fanspo. They're working fast today. Cam Johnson to Miami. Rozier to the Nets. Jaquez to the Nets. Let's just say first-round pick from Golden State. And the 2027 second-round pick Miami has. That's successful. It works. Phoenix could do it. Or, excuse me, Brooklyn could do it. Miami would get underneath the luxury tax if they did that. I don't think it would happen. But it's certainly an interesting... It's certainly an interesting idea. Your team would get much better this season. Is it a championship contending team? No. But then you'd be able to keep Highsmith. Highsmith now has a role off the bench, taking the Jaime Jaquez Jr. role. And you basically trade Jimmy. You would trade Jimmy, J. Rich, and Jaquez plus 2 second-round picks okay, let's rephrase. It would be Jimmy, Richardson, Jaquez, Rozier, 3 second-rounders for Cam Johnson, Andrew Wiggins, and Davion Mitchell. It's actually kind of a good win. Not gonna lie. I could talk myself behind that. I mean, I would put Miami as the 4th best team in the East with that roster. Wiggins, Cam Johnson, Bam, Ware, Hero. You still have Duncan, Jovic, Davion Mitchell off the bench. Bilal Larson gets put in the action. Haywood Highsmith is still on the team. It's interesting. Talk says, did we get Davion Mitchell? I don't understand. Yeah. I don't know what the confusing part about that is, if I'm going to be honest. But either way, they got him. Let's put up the sub counter. I should have mentioned this. Do you have a trade top graphic? Because the sub counter is going to be lower, so you'll have to put something up top. If you could just do a trade top it could be any trade that has happened. No, not that one. It also might need to be unread only and linked to the trade master. What's up, my guy? Miami Heat zone's in the building. Love it. Love it. Getting a call. Ooh, potential spam. Who tried calling me? 934. Where's 934 from? Should I answer the phone call live? Not going to do it. What's the area code on 934, though? This is what we do. We fill time. 934 area code. New York or Long Island? Why is Long Island calling me? It could be Shams. All right. Oh, it's a voicemail. Oh, I didn't pick up in time. Can we get D'Lo? Oh, we don't want D'Lo. Perfect. All right, almost 600 people watching. I do want everyone in the chat to subscribe if you have not already. We have picked up 360 subscribers since last night. A lot of new eyeballs on the channel. Appreciate everyone who has joined. If you are someone who is watching now and isn't subscribed, please do so. I'm Nic Rohloff. I put out Miami Heat content every single day. I go live for almost every Heat game. I promised that we'd be live for the Jimmy Butler trade. We were. I promised we'd be live on the trade deadline. We are. We talk everything Miami Heat. A lot of people do great content surrounding the Heat on YouTube out there. But I'd appreciate you guys subscribing here to the channel. And we're on the rocket ship, man. The goal was 18,000 subscribers before we woke up on Thursday morning. We got there. The goal is now to get to 19K subscribers as soon as possible. Let's get to 19K. Oh, yeah, let's do this. I like this. Appreciate everyone. Hit that sub button. Wow. Interesting report here. The Knicks have been talking to the Bulls about some of Chicago's backcourt players. I'm wondering, that would likely be Ayo Dosunmu, I would guess. Because Kobe White doesn't fit on that team, but Ayo does.
What does that do for the Knicks, quite honestly?
Right. They could use a backup guard, someone maybe more physical, better defensively than a campaign, a Deuce McBride who's inconsistent. I think Ayo would be a really good fit in New York. I'm curious what they would have to offer to get him. Ooh, let me update this real quick to take PJ Tucker off before you flash this. But I do want to talk about this. But that's interesting. Like I said, we're talking Heat basketball all day today, but we're also talking about all the rumors in the NBA around the trade deadline. What trades did happen. Yusuf Nurkic just got traded. You see this one. This one came out of nowhere. Not a lot of people are talking about it. It always felt like the Pelicans were going to try to move off of Brandon Ingram before the deadline. They did. The Toronto Raptors cashed in, traded Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick to get Brandon Ingram. I like that buy low by Toronto. I do. Now, we'll see what they do in terms of extending him. And what that contract would look like. But I do like that move if you are, oh, you've got to be shitting me.
Let me ask you this, though, Rolly. I know the NBA isn't all about three-point shooting, but who shoots a three in that starting lineup?
What starting lineup?
For the Raptors.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Barrett, quickly, Ingram.
Yeah, the spacing on that team isn't good.
Yeah.
Quickly, Barrett, Ingram, Barnes, Podol. Oof. That's like the most super team play-in team of all time.
That sounds like an AAU team you scrap together and just say, hey, we can all kind of play, but no real thought process behind the team building.
Don't hate that take. I don't hate that take. I see a lot of people talking Malik Monk. Oh, my God. Oh, I might be good anyway. Chills. All right, hold on. We're going to talk about the new look Heat roster. Let's see once that Mitchell name changes. There it is. All right. All right, so after all the trades that have gone down so far regarding the Miami Heat, this is where their roster currently stands. They are at the max number of players, 15. So even though the Heat are underneath the first apron and can sign anyone on the buyout market, the only way they would sign someone on the buyout market is if they shed a different contract and a player or cut someone because they're at the max number of players at 15. I would probably, as of right now, project the starting backcourt to stay at Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. But obviously, Andrew Wiggins, when he's up to speed, will slot in as that starting three, with Bam and Ware still being your 4-5 combination. So I expect this to be the starting lineup for the Miami Heat. And then on the bench, you have Nikola Jovic, who has been your sixth man and has been playing at an unbelievable level right now at sixth man. So Jovic is your sixth man. I'd say Jaquez Rozier, 7th, 8th guy right now. Highsmith probably gets reverted to your 9th guy. And then you also now have Davion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, Alec Burks, Kashad Johnson, and Kevin Love. I do expect another trade to go down today, with Miami trying to get underneath the luxury tax, whether they get off of Burks' $3 million contract, Kyle Anderson's 8.8, Highsmith's 5.5, or Kevin Love's $3 million. But we'll have to be on the lookout for that. But obviously the prized addition for Miami in the return for Jimmy Butler is Andrew Wiggins. He is having quite a good season for the Warriors, but now he will join this Heat starting lineup. 18 points a game, just about, shooting 38% from three, but his defense is what will be the biggest thing coming to Miami. It will be a lot of fun to watch him defend on the perimeter. But Justin, before we talk more about Andrew Wiggins, I think we need to talk about the trade that just got announced in the NBA, because this is a pretty big one. DeAndre Hunter is on the move. The Atlanta Hawks have traded DeAndre Hunter to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, Cleveland adds to their team by trading Karis LeVert, George Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 pick swaps to the Hawks to get DeAndre Hunter. Quite a blockbuster. This has been the most chaotic and wild NBA trade deadline in NBA history. A lot of people wondered if today would be very boring after all the moves over the weekend and what happened last night with Ingram and Jimmy. Not the case. We've still got our fair share of deals, and a big one. DeAndre Hunter heading to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Karis LeVert, George Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 swaps. That's a blockbuster trade, man. Is it a, league-changing trade? No. But the Cavaliers, who have been the best team in the Eastern Conference all year long, just got significantly better. Significantly better. And there's no question about that, in my opinion. They got a lot better. All right, we'll get the full trade deadline or full trade details on screen in a second. But Kyle with a $2 super chat. Appreciate you, Kyle. Saying in Pat we trust. Listen. Oh, shit. I just remembered we didn't do prize picks in the first 30. We got to do prize picks again. Whoops. Yeah. See, this is part on me for not realizing it. But that's where you really got to use that check sheet. Because we didn't get it in the first 30. We did first 7. We didn't do the first 30 again. So we're going to get the trade details on screen revolving DeAndre Hunter. We'll talk about Pat. Appreciate the $2 super chat, Kyle. But while we tell you about prize picks, we'll get that set up in just a second. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, the number 1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And the big game in football is almost here on Sunday. Don't miss out on the last football game. The best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for that game where you only need more than half a passing yard on Patrick Mahomes. Pair that up with one more stat projection that's right, and you can win real cash. Also, check out the promos tab to tell any of the Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tell a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. You can also still play daily in basketball, hockey, collegiate, professional, it does not matter. I've got an entry for tonight's action in the association. More than Kyrie Irving, 34.5 points, rebounds, assists. Less than Naz Reid, 6.5 rebounds. And then more than Anthony Simons and DeMar DeRozan combined, 40.5 points. You could also get weekly promotions on Prize Picks like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks selects certain player projections and discounts them up to 25% to provide even more value in your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your... Shout out to Prize Picks, but here is the full trade details on that most recent trade in the association. DeAndre Hunter joining the number 1 team in the East in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Karis LeVert, George Niang, and draft compensation, 3 second-rounders, 2 pick swaps, heading to Atlanta. I see Hot Dog saying this isn't a blockbuster trade. I'll disagree with that notion. It's not the biggest name player, but when you have the best team in the conference getting significantly better and changing up their roster, then yeah, I'm going to say that's a blockbuster, and I am. So I'm going to push back on that. I think it's a blockbuster.
Plus, I think, quite honestly, if you think about it, that team was like a competent wing away.
Right, like, what was their biggest need on that team? A connecting piece in that front court to back court, right? Seriously, like, they have Garland and Mitchell in the backcourt. They have Mobley at the 4, Allen at the 5. They have continuously tried to find that starting 3 for them. It's been a rotation of Max Strus, Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro. But that position has always held them back because as good as their backcourt is and as good as their front court is, the truth is the NBA is a wings league. The best wings oftentimes have the best teams. So the fact that their weakest link on their roster was their wing depth and starting 3 was an issue. You slide DeAndre Hunter, who can defend, can hit a mid-range shot, catch and shoot 3, alongside that 2 front court and back court to connect the group. You still have Max Strus off the bench, Isaac Okoro off the bench, Ty Jerome, who's been sensational off the bench. The Cavaliers just got significantly better. Not that this really impacts Miami, because unless they got like a crazy all-NBA guy, they were never going to contend in the Eastern Conference this season, at least. But boy, did the East just get much tougher to win, because I never believed in the Cavs, thought they were having a good season. This trade now puts them up there with me, with the Boston Celtics, with the New York Knicks.
And who do they always struggle with to beat?
Right.
Who do they have?
Yeah, they've always struggled. It's a great point. It's a wings league. They've never been able to beat the Celtics. And now they have a guy, I'm not going to say that he's going to be able to stop them by any stretch of the imagination, but he is going to make life a little bit more difficult on Jaylen Brown, on Jason Tatum. And you got obviously Evan Mobley there, who has been one of the best defenders in the NBA, who can guard 3 through 5. Probably wouldn't trust him to guard on the perimeter too often, but he can stay in front of Jaylen Brown and Tatum for the most part. So now you got those 2 defending. I like the Cavs, man. I'm not going to predict them to make it out of the East, but I'll take the reigning Celtics to probably win the Eastern Conference again, unfortunately. But the Cavs certainly just got a lot more better. A lot more better, if that's a word. Is that word? A lot more better? That doesn't sound right. A lot better. Yeah, I'm not smart. I don't claim to be smart. All right, let's get a comment driver flowing in here. Okay, I love this. I want you to direct the ship. Oh, we got a super chat. I didn't know that. Steve-O with a $2 super chat. How realistic is getting Josh Giddey in his fit? Oh, fuck no. No. Is it realistic getting Josh Giddey to begin with? No. His fit would be horrible. He would give you a playmaker and a ball handler, yes. But he doesn't defend. He's not athletic. And he can't space the floor. Yes, he made a couple of threes against Miami on Tuesday. That was an anomaly. He can't space the floor. No, I would hate the fit of Josh Giddey. I don't want him in Miami. So I'm not even entertaining that thought. I'm not going to entertain that thought. New report here from Mark Spears. Pelicans are expected to keep Zion and CJ McCollum through the deadline. Not surprising, in my opinion, after they traded Brandon Ingram last night. If Brandon Ingram was still on the roster as we currently were speaking, then I think all options were on the table for New Orleans. But once they were able to find someone to take Ingram, it was always full steam ahead. Trade or keep those two probably.
Quite honestly, they probably should just come on the season.
Yeah, you aren't wrong about that. Aren't wrong about that. All right, you know what? I want to get your thoughts down. You asked about Josh Giddey. Who is your top trade target for the Miami Heat? Who is your top trade target for the Miami Heat? 600 people watching. Who is your top Heat trade target with an hour and 8 minutes to go until the deadline? Mine will still be Malcolm Brogdon. I think if you ship Rozier. Ooh, wait, how much is Brogdon making? How much is Brogdon making? Let me double check this. I want to make sure I get it right. The Heat need to clear 2.8. Ah! Brogdon makes 22.5, Rozier 24.9, so that's only 2.4. You need 2.8 to get underneath the luxury tax. Could technically do a Burks, Rozier for Brogdon. I've said Malcolm Brogdon's a good trade target for the Miami Heat for the past 12 hours or so, ever since the Jimmy Butler trade, because even with Davion Mitchell, I would still like a decent guard that can defend and play make and shoot as well. I like Malcolm Brogdon quite a bit, but we'll see. That's my guy. And like I said, if you did Burks and Rozier for Brogdon, problem is you don't really have any draft capital. I think you have a 2027 pick swap in the second round you can do. So maybe 1 second round pick in 27 and those two players for Brogdon expiring $22.5 million. You'd get underneath the luxury tax, which we know is a big thing for Miami right now. You get a better point guard. That's probably my guy. It's Brogdon. And Tony says Brogdon brings nothing. He's a better fit on the team than Rozier. He's a better playmaker than Terry. He's a better defender than Terry. Not this season. Well, actually this season, yeah. But historically, Brogdon's been a really good three-point shooter. Yeah, Antonius, but he's not I don't know if he's not a starting caliber point guard. He started 22 games for Toronto this year, but that's also their third guy, like between Quickly. Who's their other guard that they were starting? Yeah. Davion started 22 games. Quickly, there's another guard. They've started with Jacoby Walter, Ochai Agbaji. So I guess he's really just been their second point guard. Scotty plays a little bit of the one, though. Yeah. For the people that are saying Lonzo Ball, that was my top guy, but then he signed a 2-year extension with the 2-year extension with the Bulls last night. Alex says, where did you see the Cam Johnson trade? It was on my Bleacher Report. I didn't see a Cam Johnson trade. I mean, there's rumors about Brooklyn potentially trading him, but it's been widely reported they want 2 first-round picks. I don't think it would be smart for Miami to offer 2 first-round picks. I'd consider Hawkes, Rozier, and the Warriors pick you got for Jimmy for it. I'd consider it. Because Cam Johnson fits your timeline. What is he, 27, 28 years old? Let me double check that. 28 years old, so he's a little bit older. But your lineup would be Hero, Wiggins, Johnson, Ware, and Bam. That's 25 years old. That's 28 years old, 29, 27, and then 20 with Kala Ware. So you have a younger lineup. You've got spacing, shooting, defense. I would be willing to burn. I mean, Rozier's not a burn, but I would be willing to burn Hawkes in the 2025 first-round pick from Golden State for Cam Johnson. You're saying Cam isn't worth any assets? I would disagree. He's averaging nearly 20 points a game this year. 19 points a game. Okay. People are asking about trade targets for Miami if they did want to do it. Hold on. Interesting. Just reading something about one of the trades that already went down. But these are 3 trade targets I have in mind. Malcolm Brogdon, we just talked about pretty extensively. Did you end up ever moving over all the player bios or no? Okay. We should then have, I would assume, player bios for all 3 of these guys. Because they were on the trade list. And Smart. Hold on. I think they had them. Give me 1 second. Let me see here. NBA graphics. They should have it. Which one did you say we didn't have? Smart? Yeah, we got it. I'll move it over. One second here, folks. All right, so we'll start with Malcolm Brogdon, who we just talked about, making $22.5 million. You see, he hasn't played a lot this year. He hasn't. But when he's on the court, he's a good fit because he's got decent size. You see, 6'5", 230. He's big. He's stocky. He can defend. And that's the reason why would be a good addition. It's for the defensive purposes. To get Brogdon to act as your main ball handler and point guard, move Tyler Hero a little bit more off ball, which is necessary because Hero's had so much pressure on him to create offensively, as well as having a turnover issue right now. Brogdon would alleviate some of that. Historically, he's been able to knock down three-point shots at a pretty solid stretch, shooting usually about 38, 39% from the field on three-pointers, a little bit lower now. But I would love Malcolm Brogdon. Now, you don't really have a second-round pick to add to Rozier and Alec Burks, which is what the deal would probably be, to get Miami underneath the luxury tax, as well as get a point guard. I think that's an intriguing option. I like Brogdon, but we would need to find a second-round pick, which maybe you make a multi-team deal. Highsmith to a third team, you get a picks, second-round picks, send one with Burks and Rozier to Washington for Brogdon. There you go. Like that. Like that potentially. Other point guard options for Miami, Tre Jones. He's making $9 million this year, so to get underneath the luxury tax, they would have to do Kyle Anderson and probably Kevin Love. I don't even know if that would get enough. But Tre Jones is someone, not a good three-point shooter, really good facilitator, averaged 6 assists per game the last 2 seasons in San Antonio as the starter before Chris Paul came along. But he's someone that can facilitate. He's interesting. And then Marcus Smart is another name that we've targeted here. Smart's interesting because he makes $20 million. Terry Rozier for Marcus Smart straight up would get Miami a better fit on the roster because Smart's a better playmaker than Rozier, a better defender. He also makes $4 million less than Rozier, which would then get Miami underneath the luxury tax. So I'm a big fan on that. So I would be intrigued by Marcus Smart. I would be intrigued. Okay, remember what I did in the editor with the countdown box? Now go in there and before delete everything in the editor. But Marcus Smart's an intriguing name. He would be a good facilitator. He has playoff pedigree. He's a Miami Heat guy. We know that he would like the Heat system. We know the Heat would be interested in Smart. There you go. I would be fascinated by Rozier, and for Marcus Smart, you'd probably have to attach a second maybe as well. It'd be tough, but I would be a fan. You know what always cracks me up, Justin? When people come into the chat and just start clowning what I say. Like, not that I care about any of their opinions to a certain degree. Like, but Macmon just coming in and saying, this is the dumbest thing ever. Like, this is how I know he doesn't know basketball. Like, it drives me nuts. The Heat don't need a guard. They need a wing. What are you talking about? The Heat already now have Jovic, Highsmith, Jaquez, Wiggins. That's 4 wings. 3 of them on the bench now with Wiggins starting. And I didn't even mention Kyle Anderson, who the Heat are openly trying to trade. How are you perfect, by the way? How are you trying to tell me that we need a wing? Makes no sense, man. Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's hard for me to ignore the stupidity sometimes. I'm sorry, it is. It is. It's hard to do. It's hard to do. Because, like, they go in the chat and say, I'm stupid for saying the Heat need a point guard, which the Heat have been one of the most turnover-prone teams over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Unbelievable. Whatever. We're moving on. Moving on. Couple super chats to show on screen. We'll get those on screen in just a second. See someone talking about Keon Ellis? No, I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah, I'm not going to interact with that dude anymore because he clearly has no clue what he's talking about. It's clear that the number 1 need on this team is a point guard. It's just clear. $2 super chat from Anthony. Appreciate you coming in again inside with a $2 super chat as we are officially under an hour away from the trade deadline passing. Let's see if Kyle Anderson is traded away or if the Heat get underneath the luxury tax. They have 56 minutes to do so. I think we have a top 3 defense in the league. What do you think? No. I get the optimism of a defensive lineup being Mitchell, Wiggins, Ware, Bam. You could do a Highsmith lineup too and just have an all clamps lineup. But normally, like in a standard lineup, you'd probably think Mitchell, Hero, Wiggins, Bam, and Ware. It's a good defensive team. Top 3, unsure. Unsure. We do need to see how these players gel before we can say that. It's hard to project having a top 3 defense when you overhauled your entire roster. Like, I wouldn't say overhaul the entire roster, but it's a pretty big change and a seismic change, right? When you add Wiggins, you add Mitchell, you add Kyle Anderson at the moment. So, we'll see. But I do think Miami's defense will go from where it's been of ranging between like 10 and 18, like a mid defense this year. So I do believe it will be closer to the top 10 range than the 20 range, let's say that. Sam B with a super chat. Have you considered modeling? No homo. Well, I appreciate the compliment, Sam. But the answer is no, and I am not that good looking. We did get a $2 super chat from Anxiety as well. Shout out to Anxiety. We traded Jimmy Butler. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. You know what I think is a good time to re-show the Jimmy Butler trade for the people that are tuned in? AE, that would be soft. That'd be tough. That'd be tough. As we are 54 minutes away from the deadline, this is what the Heat have done so far. They traded Jimmy Butler to Golden State. They received Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, and a 2025 top 10 protected first-round pick. And then they rerouted PJ Tucker to the Toronto Raptors alongside a second-round pick to get Davion Mitchell. So the Heat in total traded away Butler, Josh Richardson, and 2 second-round picks to get Wiggins, a first, and Davion Mitchell. That's what we have done so far. That is what we have done so far. That is what we've done. Yeah, don't show that. That's outdated now. Yeah, I don't hate this. You know what? Let's talk about the Heat's biggest addition to this point as we wait to see if there's a trade. This is Andrew Wiggins' shot chart from the 24-25 season. A lot of decent. Remember, light blue, bad. Dark blue, good. So Wiggins is really good from the right wing. Depends on how you look at it. When I think about playing basketball, I always look at this chart and how you would be standing on the court. And obviously, this side is the left side of the court if you were standing as a right-handed shooter up top. So this is the left wing. That's the right wing. He's elite at the right wing, which is actually opposite. Usually, right-handed shooters are better from the left side of the court than the right side of the court. But he is a 50% shooter, I think was the number. It was like 48.9 from the right corner. Very good. Doesn't take a lot of corner threes, but he's been very efficient there. I think it was like 9 of 19 this season. From the right wing from three, he's shooting 40% from three, about 3 or 4% higher than league average. So on the right side of the court, he's an extremely good three-point shooter. Top of the key, he's below average. He shoots about 30%, 32% from the top of the key. League average is 35, so he's a little bit lesser on that end. He's league average at the left wing, and then he's just about league average from the left corner. So this season, shooting 38% from three, elite from the right side of the court, average from the left side, below average from the top of the key. His finishing inside the paint isn't as good as I initially thought. I thought the numbers would be better. You see his shot chart, by the way. It's mostly threes and inside. That's what the Heat's offense has tried to do this year, so it's logically a good fit for Wiggins in Miami, by the way. He shoots 55% inside the restricted area. League average is 59%. So he's a little bit below league average at that regard. But you see, not the best mid-range shooter, but he doesn't take a lot of them anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. He'll mostly be a catch-and-shoot three-point guy, and then he'll have baseline cuts, off-ball cuts, pump fakes, drives insides as well. I think he's going to be a good offensive fit. And when you think of the Heat's starting lineup now, this is where things stand. This is what the Heat's roster is right now as we currently stand 50 minutes before the deadline. You just improved drastically because as good as Haywood Highsmith is defensively, I think Andrew Wiggins is a better defensive player than Haywood Highsmith. He is. I have the numbers to back it up, but I've already started to work on a show detailing how good Andrew Wiggins is defensively and how much he will impact this Heat team, which will probably be coming out over the next 2 or 3 days after the trade deadline and the buyout stuff. But he is a vast improvement offensively, better, about the same, if not a little bit better, three-point shooter than Haywood Highsmith, a better finisher inside, a better cutter than Haywood Highsmith, a better defender. So you upgrade massively in your starting lineup right away with Andrew Wiggins. And when Hero drives and draws two people, he is going to be able to kick it out to much better shooters. Duncan Robinson in that starting lineup. Andrew Wiggins, like I detailed, is as good or is a better. He's at least a better threat than Haywood Highsmith. Teams don't respect Haywood Highsmith offensively. They don't. They dare him to shoot. Remember against the Bulls a couple days ago, they funneled every shot into Haywood Highsmith, and he missed 5 straight. Now, Wiggins could miss 5 straight. I'm not saying he will never do that, but teams will not funnel offensive possessions into Andrew Wiggins. That's my point. Your offense becomes more versatile, and your defense actually takes even a little bit of a step up as well. That's why I think Andrew Wiggins is a perfect fit on this Miami Heat basketball team as we currently stand, and you still have a solid bench of Nikola Jovic who's been taking off. And they will not start this lineup, but I would project a closing lineup of Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, Andrew Wiggins, Kel'el Ware, and Bam. And maybe on a nightly basis, Kel'el Ware doesn't finish. Kel'el Ware did not close last night against the Sixers. Now, that's matchup dependent because they were a smaller team. Against a bigger team, Ware might close, and he's shown the ability to close. But the Heat are versatile. That's my point. Wiggins could guard the 1. Wiggins could guard the 2. Wiggins could guard the 3. Wiggins could guard the 4. Bam can do the same thing. Like, this team has just gotten so much better defensively, and the versatility on this roster is something that I am very excited to watch. Is it a team that I think could win the NBA championship? No, I do not. Don't think I'm not brain dead. I'm not delusional. But is it a much better team than what we were 24 hours ago? Absolutely. The Heat, I think, I would project Miami to finish as the 6th seed in the East this year. That's my projection. They went from, all right, we're probably going to lose in 4 or 5 games as a 6th seed to the Knicks, Celtics, or Cavs, to this is a frisky 6th seed. They might steal 2 from you. Hell, you know what? They might even force a Game 7. It's going to get frisky down in Miami. It's going to get frisky. And the deadline still is 48 minutes away, and we might see another move where the Heat trade a player to get underneath the luxury tax. They might try to trade Terry Rozier. We'll see. But we do have 750 people watching. Appreciate everyone tuning in here. 48 minutes to go until the deadline. Hit that sub button if you have not already. I'm Nic Rohloff. We're live for every big event, the draft, free agency, trade deadline. We go live when the Miami Heat make big moves. We were live yesterday for the Heat game, as we always are. And then we went live for the trade as well with Jimmy Butler. So hit that sub button. Couple of super chats to break down. Xavier with a 5. Do you think our new additions will play against the Celtics? I think the Heat will win with where Wiggins playing. Love the channel. You're a YouTube Heat king. Well, Xavier, I appreciate the kind words and comment. Big fan of that, as always. Yes, I do believe he will play. I will make the statement that I believe the new additions for the Heat will play on Monday against the Celtics. They will not play tomorrow against the Nets. It's just too quick of a turnaround to get them to Miami, medicals, whole 9 yards, and have them ready to play a basketball game. But because they are all fully healthy basketball players, I would expect them to play Monday against the Celtics. And when you talk about improving this roster defensively, it's a good thing they did, because the Heat has 4 more games until the All-Star break. They won't need their new additions tomorrow against the Nets. They should be able to win that game, and they should be able to finish out a 3-1 4-game road trip. But then they return home to play Boston on Monday. You'll need Wiggins. You'll need Davion Mitchell to match up with them. And then you go on the road for 2 games and a back-to-back before the deadline or the All-Star break. Wednesday against the Oklahoma City Thunder, you're going to need all the defensive players you can possibly muster up to try to take on SGA, Jalen Williams, and that crew, with Chet Holmgren also close to returning. And then you play the Dallas Mavericks on Thursday. You have to deal with Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and a bunch of their other role players as well. So to me, it's not going to be an easy 4-game stretch before the All-Star break. If Miami can go 2-2 in that stretch, I would be ecstatic, Justin. If they go 2-2 in that stretch, current record for Miami is 25-24. If the Heat go 2-2 against the Nets, Celtics, Mavericks, and Thunder before the All-Star break, are sitting at 27-26, I would be pretty happy with that. Now, it should be a lot higher because of the amount of games that they've blown. But I think with the Heat's current record, a 2-2 4-game stretch before the All-Star break is the most ideal outcome. I'll take a sip of water. I'm thirsty. Woo! All right. Appreciate that. Elias with a 5. Well, what is it, Swedish? I think it's Swedish. 50 Swedish equals $5 in American. Do you think the Heat will focus on helping Hero with his turnover problem, or trading for a true point guard in the offseason? Based off what I'm seeing and hearing right now, 45 minutes to go until the deadline, I would expect Miami to address this need in the offseason. Yeah, I would expect it to come then rather than now, because I don't know who they would trade for right now to start at the point guard position. I've labeled Brogdon. I've labeled Marcus Smart. I've labeled Tre Jones. But do I think Miami will ultimately do that with 44 minutes to go until the deadline? I do not. So I am going to probably predict that the Heat will prioritize adding a true point guard alongside Tyler Hero in the offseason, because they would be able to trade Terry Rozier, who is an expiring $26 million contract next season. Duncan Robinson is an expiring contract next season. Also has an early termination option, not fully guaranteed at $19.8 million, but could become fully guaranteed. And they could also trade Andrew Wiggins, hypothetically. If you didn't love the fit for Andrew Wiggins and you identify in the next 2.5 months in the postseason that Wiggins actually isn't a good fit on this roster, you could trade Andrew Wiggins for a point guard. So there's that. There is that. All right, let's ask this question, then we'll showcase our Super Chat menu, Justin. But let's ask the people, what jersey will Andrew Wiggins wear? What jersey will Andrew Wiggins wear? Yes. I don't think 22 is an option. I would not give Andrew Wiggins 22. I would not allow him to take 22. That's Jimmy Butler's number. I am not giving him 22. But what jersey would you give or predict Andrew Wiggins to wear? 21, 22. I don't think he'll do.
Rozzy the Great said, Pat Riley is petty. He's going to get 22.
I want to make sure I have all the retired jersey numbers. So, unavailable jersey numbers. 1, 3, 10, 23, 32, 33, 40. 20. Is 21 being one right now? Am I brain dead? Oh, that was almost sent in the Slack. That'd have been awkward. I don't think so. 13, 18, 8, 14. 24 is off the table, obviously, for Highsmith right now. Yeah, okay, that's my prediction. My prediction's 21. My prediction's 21. I could also see 25. Andrew Wiggins has worn 22 his entire career. I don't think he will be given 22 because of Jimmy Butler. So my prediction, 21 or 25. 21 or 25. That is my prediction. All right. $5 Super Chat just came in, but let's showcase our Super Chat menu to everyone who is just tuning in. 730 people watching, 41 minutes until the deadline. I actually would be willing to guarantee he's not going to wear 22. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Pat Riley knows better enough to not give him 22. I don't care how bad it ended. Jimmy Butler deserves to have his jersey retired. And trading him and immediately giving his jersey away is just bad business to me. And it would make me upset. It would actually make me upset. I'd be very disappointed. But here's our Super Chat menu. $5, or really any Super Chat, we'll get on screen. A $10 Super Chat. We've only had one $10 Super Chat today. We'll take a shot of vodka and pour one out for Jimmy. Last time we'll talk about Jimmy Butler is today's show. So we probably won't talk about Jimmy going forward if we're going to be honest. So we'll talk about it. Pour one out for Jimmy one last time. $20 gets you into the Heat Report Hall of Fame. Join the list of Hall of Famers that are consistently in the chat, super chatting, liking, commenting, and we'll also do a wheel spin, and we'll have to do that if we finally get to 20. And if $50 super chat comes in, we go wild, we get crazy today, we'll do a beer bong. We'll do a beer bong. We will do a beer bong. But we get a $5 super chat from Outwardly Crass. Do you see a possibility of Hawkes turning into a starting caliber point forward hybrid? I think it's possible, but not in the future. No, I do not. No, I do not. I do not see that. I was hoping that he would take another step this year and be... I thought there was a chance Jaime Hawkes Jr. won Sixth Man of the Year, Justin. Coming into the year, Hawkes was the projected sixth man. coming off of the bench, and I was hoping he was going to win Sixth Man of the Year. But he has shown the inability to play make and initiate. He has a bad handle. He turns the ball over constantly. He's been better over the past 2 weeks. There's no denying he has played better basketball over the last 2 weeks. But as of right now, he's not a good handler. He's not a good creator. He's not a good playmaker. He has no three-point shot. So I don't think so.
Why do you think there was such a regression?
I don't know. I think he's an older prospect and the league caught up with him. Plus, the guy that you're looking for, starting caliber point forward hybrid, that's Nikola Jovic. That is quite literally you're describing Nikola Jovic. So that's his role, where he could be the starting 3 or starting point guard in the future if the Heat feel comfortable going big. Oh, we just got another trade. Interesting. Los Angeles Clippers are trading Terrence Mann and Bones Highland to the Atlanta Hawks for Bogdan Bogdanovic and 3 second-round picks. So the Atlanta Hawks attach 3 second-round picks to Bogdanovic to get Terrence Mann and Bones Highland. Interesting. The Hawks are tanking, clearly. Which is not smart, because I don't think, do they have their own pick this year, or does San Antonio still own it? They might have had 2. Because I'm thinking, who's on their roster now? Jalen Johnson's out for the year. They just traded DeAndre Hunter. So it's Clint Capella, Trae Young, and Onyeka and Gwangu? Okay, yeah. Dyson Daniels is still there. That's an odd trade, man. The Hawks are just blowing it up. I want to look at the Hawks roster right now. They've traded away DeAndre Hunter. Oh, they have Karis LeVert and George Niang now. I guess Zachary Reese-Shea, Kobe Buffkin. Dude, that team is bad. Yeah. The Hawks have 2 first-round picks. They have a 2025 first from the Lakers, non-protected. So they just have the Lakers pick this year. They also have the Kings first-round pick that's protected 1 through 12. So I'm pretty sure the Spurs have that pick. Oh my God, they do, and there's no protections on it. The Spurs have the 2025 first-round pick of Atlanta with no protections. Oh my God. The Hawks are currently the 9 seed in the East, but they have gotten so much worse. It will be in the lottery. I guarantee it will be in the lottery because they will not finish as a top 8 team and make the postseason. But could you imagine if the Hawks/Spurs won the lottery and Cooper Flag goes to San Antonio? If that happened, that's how you know the league is rigged. That's how you would know. They trade for Fox but get Cooper Flag in the lottery thanks to Atlanta. Wemby, Cooper Flag, and Fox. Yeah, that's a rigged league. They got lottery luck when they got Victor. They weren't supposed to get Wemby. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can't believe that. What a tank job. I'm looking right now to see if there's any buzz around Miami making another deal. I don't see any rumors. Don't see anything right now. We are what, 33 minutes away from the deadline? Before we get to this, we do have to tell everyone about our sponsor on today's live show, and that is Prize Picks. Let's tell you about our sponsor. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And the big game in football is almost here on Sunday. Don't miss out on the last football game. The best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for that game where you only need more than half a passing yard on Patrick Mahomes. Pair that up with one more stat projection that's right, and you can win real cash. Also, check out the promos tab to tell any of the Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tell a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. You can also still play daily in basketball, hockey, collegiate, professional, it does not matter. I've got an entry for tonight's action in the association. More than Kyrie Irving, 34.5 points, rebounds, assists. Less than Naz Reid, 6.5 rebounds. And then more than Anthony Simons and DeMar DeRozan combined, 40.5 points. You could also get weekly promotions on Prize Picks like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks selects certain player projections and discounts them up to 25% to provide even more value in your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your... Appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. We are 31 minutes away from the NBA trade deadline coming and going. Does Pat Riley have one more move in him to get underneath the luxury tax? We'll see. But how about this question? Is this the most insane trade deadline in NBA history? I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. Type Y for yes, N for no. Get down in the comments section. Get active. Xavier typing Y. Solve, yeah. Tony, yeah. Zhang saying yeah. Probably from Nate. Tim says hell yeah. I think it is. Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, De'Aaron Fox, Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram. That's insane. That's insane. What's the issue? Oh. We got 3 or 4 super chats we'll get on screen in just a second, but we do have 800 people watching. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. We have 225 likes. Can we get to 400 likes right now? Getting to 400 likes would be pretty solid. Become that 50% like rate mark. Hit that thumbs up icon would be greatly appreciated as we are officially 30 minutes away from the deadline. Get to 400. Get to 400 likes. A couple of super chats to show. We got one from DJ Scuba Steve. $1 super chat. Appreciate you. Scuba Steve, I think Scuba came in with another one. Yeah, he did. $2 super chat. Keep the news coming. There's not much news to report right now. The latest trade was that Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Clippers for Terrence Mann. The Heat have yet to make another move after the Davion Mitchell trade. We'll see if they do make another one. The trade has yet to be finalized and announced So there is a chance that Miami finds another move and makes this a 6-team, 7-team deal. Officially, right now it's a 5-team deal. And that is referring to the Jimmy Butler trade. I don't think there will be an Andrew Wiggins press conference. I mean, he'll speak to the media eventually, but it's not like they're going to do a press conference. Marco with a super chat. Appreciate Marco. Should the Heat trade Terry Rozier? Yeah, but they're not going to. There'd be nothing to make me more happy than to find out Terry Rozier gets traded in the next 28 minutes. I don't think it's going to happen. I'd love to have it happen, but I don't think it will. The Heat are kind of out of second-round picks. They don't really have any second-round picks they could attach to Terry Rozier. Unfortunately, I don't think a Rozier trade is going to happen, even though I'd love to. If the Heat had more second-round picks, they could have. But it doesn't seem so. Unless a team actually wants to add Terry Rozier to their roster in terms of fit. And I don't see that happening either. Another super chat coming in from Anointed again. Appreciate Anointed. He's been a legend today. Anointed sending the most today. What a legend. 28 minutes. Giannis has him on my TV. How fun is that? Here's the $5 super chat from Anointed. I lost faith in Pat Riley ever since he let D. Wade leave. How about you? I've been very critical of Pat Riley over the last 5 years. There's no debating that. My digital footprint would show that as well. But I do think Pat Riley did a very good job so far this deadline. I mean, listen, should he have said what he said to Pat or in the press conference about Jimmy Butler over the summer? No. Was it probably a smarter move to extend Jimmy in the offseason? Maybe. It can be debated. But I will say this. For the situation and the hand that he was dealt, I'm impressed by Pat Riley at the deadline. He was dealt a bad hand. I mean, he might have created the hand, but he might have still dealt it to himself. Jimmy Butler requesting a trade, wanting to go to one team and one team only, and that one team having the most untradeable contract in the NBA. So they weren't able to find a deal. And then you were able to get a first-round pick in Andrew Wiggins and Davion Mitchell in return for Jimmy Butler. Yeah, you had to attach 2 second-round picks as well, but you get a pretty valuable first-round pick. You get a good 3-and-D piece that isn't the worst contract, that fits your roster needs very well. And you get that good depth guard defender in Davion Mitchell. For what he had to deal with, I think it's a really good return for Jimmy Butler. But with 25 minutes to go, we'll see if he's got another trade. We'll see if there's another one up Pat Riley's sleeve. There could be. There also might not be. There's only one way to find out. Henry, that's right. Crested, no. Nikola Vucevic is not an option. 770 people watching. Are you guys subscribed? If not, make sure you hit that sub button. Can we get to 18,400 subscribers today? We're 42 away. That would be pretty sick to get there. You know what? I'll say this. If we get to 18,400 subscribers before the deadline passes in 25 minutes, I'll do a beer bong. Daily Miami Heat content, live for almost every single Miami Heat basketball game. When news drops, we have you covered. When trade rumors happen, we have you covered. When the Heat make roster moves and actual trades, we go live and have you covered with videos. So hit that sub button if you have not already. I'll also say this. We're in sub-only mode. So If you want to comment in the live chat, you have to be subscribed. If you are subscribed, type me. If you're subscribed, type me, because if you're typing in the chat, I'll know you'll be a subscriber, and I can give you a shout out. So spam me in the chat if you're subscribed. Overkill, he's a subscriber. Paco, Store, Anointed, Cedric, Ponyboy, Four Arrows, Vic, Dennis, Javier, Austin, Yami, Johnny, LeBron, Boy Wonder, Andre, Luis, Andy, Wadar, Crested, Boar, Raphael, Nate, Luis, Benji, a.k.a. Ed, Bravo, Alexander, DJ, Vincent, Chicken, Akira, Tony, Alan. Hit that sub button and spam me if you are a subscriber. 23 minutes away from the deadline. Will the Heat make another trade? Will another trade go down in the NBA? It's a good question. You could throw this up. Will the Heat make another trade? And we'll revisit our sub counter in a second. Will Miami make another deal to get underneath the luxury tax? Excuse me. Will they do it? I know Miami is working the phones. Like, as much as you might joke about Pat Riley sleeping, I do it a lot too. But I know Pat Riley is working the phones heavily, to try to find a move to get underneath the luxury tax. He's just got to shed $2.8 million. That's all you got to do. But I'm trying to figure out what contract you can trade with cash for them to take it. I'm like, I guess you could technically send cash alongside Highsmith because you need $2.8 million. Highsmith is $5.5 million. So technically you can send Haywood Highsmith and like $2 million to a team and you're under the luxury tax. Or you can do Kyle Anderson and like $2 or $3 million to a team, but who wants to take on Kyle Anderson's contract? That's tough. I'll tell you what, I don't want Kyle Anderson on this team. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Pigeon Base with a $10 super chat. Or Anointed. Oh, this one's earlier, I think, from Anointed. Shout out to Pigeon Base with the 10. Do you think we explore the buyout market when it's over the deadline? Also, here's the Skyhawk Master wish, and we'll still root for him. Oh, you're talking about Jimmy. Yeah. Well, I guess it depends with the buyout market. Because the Heat currently have 15 standard contracts. You're only allowed 15. Are the Heat going to cut someone after the deadline to go to the buyout market? Maybe. Would they cut Kashad Johnson to sign a veteran on the buyout market? Not so sure. So, it depends. I think they will be very active on the buyout market if they shed one more salary. Because they're at the max 15 right now. If they trade a salary to get underneath the luxury tax and they're at 14, yeah, I think they'll be aggressive on the buyout market. But right now, it's hard to say they will be because they'd have to cut someone, and I don't know who they would cut to go after on the buyout market. But $10 super chats are shots, and we pour one out for Jimmy Butler to say thank you one more time. The first time we did this, we talked about his 56-point performance against the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 4 of the first round 2023 series. Today, or this one, we're going to thank him. We're going to go to the triple-double Game 5 NBA Finals in the bubble against the Lakers. The meme where he's gassed on this little stanchion, that's the thank you. Triple-double, 30-plus points, outplayed LeBron in that game, extended the series to 6. Miami ultimately lost that NBA Finals in 6. Still, I don't know if you'll agree. I'll go to my grave saying if Bam didn't get hurt in Game 1 and Goran Dragic didn't injure his foot, we would have won the NBA Finals that year. We'll see. But either way, shout out to Jimmy for that performance. And shout out to the last 5 years. Ooh, another trade coming in here. Atlanta Hawks are trading Cody Zeller and a 28 second-round pick to the Rockets. Non-mover there. Non-mover there. Oh, we got another $10 super chat from Pigeon Base. We're at $81 in the super chats today. Could we get to 100? That'd be pretty sick. That would be pretty sick. Oh, now the 10s are flying in. This is going to get dicey for me, potentially. Pigeon Base says his best memory, the triple-double with Bam versus Tre Young, saying it's over. That probably wouldn't have been next up on my list, but I can do it for that one, Pigeon Base. I remember that game. Tre Young, alley-oop dunk. Hawks go up 8 with like 50 seconds left. Heat come back down 8 with 50 seconds, force overtime and win. Bam had a triple-double that night. Jimmy Butler had a triple-double that night. Kendrick Nunn scored 30-plus points. Duncan Robinson scored 30-plus points, I believe, as well in that game, too. To Jimmy, appreciate you, my friend. Even though it ended poorly, appreciate Jimmy. Another one coming in. Amanda. $10 away from 100. That'd be appreciated. Next, thank you to Jimmy. You got one? Justin's going to come on screen, and he's going to say something about Jimmy Butler, and then I'll take the shot. All right, Justin, what do you got for us for Jimmy?
What I can appreciate about Jimmy Butler, he would always get the Heat right during playoff time and would always pull something out of his ass. Talk about the bubble where they whoop up on the Celtics. I mean, that was pretty great to see. And then I think my favorite memory is, I think this was 2-3 years ago when they were an 8 seed. Oh, I'm a little low. Yeah. 2-3 years ago when they were 8 seed. And they smacked around Giannis and the Bucks. I mean, I'm not a Giannis fan, and it was great to see Jimmy Butler come through, just embarrass them. And I think they got to the conference finals that year. Is that correct?
Which year is it again, did you say?
I think it was the year they upset the Bucks in the first round.
No, they got to the finals.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah.
I know the regular season treatment isn't the biggest fan favorite thing with the Heat, but you could always appreciate that he would actually show up in the playoffs and, you know, be a superstar and carry his team to the top. So
that's true. To Jimmy. Oh, shit. This is actually news that affects Miami. Dennis Schroeder just got traded again. So the deal with involving Jimmy Butler is still not finalized. Dennis Schroeder is going to the Pistons. Interesting. We'll see what ultimately happens if Miami gets involved in that, if the Heat send something to Detroit or not. I don't know. But Dennis Schroeder is being rerouted from Utah to Detroit. This trade is far from being finalized, folks. We're still 14 minutes away from the deadline, and we have yet to see a full finalization of the Jimmy Butler trade. Maybe the Heat offload another asset in this deal, and they get underneath the luxury tax. It's possible. But when it's all said and done, there's well, Detroit was already involved. Because they already were getting Josh Richardson and Lindy Waters. And the Pistons plan to keep Dennis Schroeder, so he is no longer going to be on the buyout market. Pistons plan to keep him. That's what Chris Haynes just reported. So Dennis Schroeder not going out on the buyout market. This was the original trade. There has been a lot of changes since then. Dennis Schroeder is now going to Detroit. We'll see what the Jazz got back from the Pistons in that deal. The Heat also then added the Raptors into the deal because they traded P.J. Tucker and a second-round pick to get Davion Mitchell. So the Heat have Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, 2025 top 10 protected first, and Kyle Anderson as the return for Butler right now. They are still $2.8 million away from getting underneath the luxury tax. But this is the original trade details, but it has been changed since then. Schroeder heading to Detroit. What a wild, wild 5-team trade at this point right now. Grizzlies made a call on Kevin Durant. Obviously didn't go anywhere. Lindy Waters, he's just kind of some random dude on the Warriors. He's had good moments. We're about there, folks. We're about there. Ugh, can't talk now. Just make sure, just get the countdown box up one more time since we're really close away. 865 people watching. I said that I would do a beer bong if we got to 18,400 subscribers before the deadline passes. We're 11 and a half minutes away from the trade deadline. I see people commenting about Davion Mitchell. If you want to learn more about him, either watch the video we put out on Davion Mitchell breaking down the trade, or you're going to have to wait, because as of right now, we're just going to be in wait-and-see mode over the next 11 minutes before the deadline passes. But if you want to watch a breakdown that badly, there's one on the channel where I broke down the trade details. What's saying, uh-oh? Oh, yeah, we're 10 minutes away from the deadline and 16 minutes away from getting to that subscriber mark. 10 minutes away. Is there going to be another trade before the deadline? I say yes. You're saying 2? Justin's predicting 2. Raider for Life says Miami is more concerned with saving money than getting what we need for this to be a good team. For that, we will forever be in. Well, I'll say this. As much as I am someone who isn't thrilled with always having, like, money be a serious concern, like, say, Mickey Harrison money, if you're $2.8 million from the luxury tax, you might as well try to get underneath it. And plus, if getting underneath the luxury tax now will incentivize and save money for Mickey Harrison to spend into the tax 2 years from now, then yes, I'm in. Because that's when the Heat are going to have to make an all-in move. Not this offseason, but next offseason. And if you save Mickey $24 million now, and he'll be willing to spend $40 million more in 2 years, then it's a trade-off that you have to make. So can they get underneath the luxury tax to save Mickey $24 million? We'll see. 9 subscribers away with 9 minutes to go. KJ Martin, Josh Richardson, and a second-round pick to Utah. So the Sixers are now in this deal? KJ Martin was traded from the Sixers. Was it to Detroit? I don't remember. I guess it was. So now it's technically a 6-team deal because the Sixers are now technically involved with KJ Martin. We're 4 subscribers away from a beer bong. We're also almost having 1,000 people watch. If you are just tuning in, outside of the beer bong, I'm Nic Rohloff. We go live for almost every Heat game. We break down every single Miami Heat news. The Wizards announced that they have waived Reggie Jackson. So Reggie Jackson is going to be a buyout player. Torrey Craig is also someone on the buyout market. There's been rumors about Bruce Brown being bought out by New Orleans. There's been rumors about Ben Simmons, Andre Drummond. Those are some of the top names. Hey, we got there. We got there with 7.5 minutes to go. Beer bong time. Coors Latte. Got my Coors Latte. Appreciate all the new subscribers. Excuse me. The Press Dolphins fan says, wait, after the 7 minutes go, does that mean no one else can get traded? Yes. Once the trade deadline passes, there is no more trades until the offseason. Now, there might be some trades that get reported like 5-10 minutes after the deadline that were just getting sent into the league right beforehand. So we'll ultimately see, and we'll probably give it 5 or 10 minutes before we shift our attention to what's next for Miami before we officially call it on the deadline. But yeah, once the next 6.5 minutes are up, again, I don't think that there will be any other trades. Yeah, I do remember that. And that's true. Victor Oladipo was announced when they acquired him from the Rockets 15, 20 minutes after the deadline passed. So it's possible. Let's see, though. 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go. We're also $7 away from $100 in Super Chats for the day. You know what? Special price right now. Someone says in a $10 Super Chat to get us above $100, I'll do another beer bong while we wait to see if another trade happens 5 minutes before the deadline. Might happen. The most recent trade is a part of that Jimmy Butler trade where Dennis Schroeder goes to Detroit. Five minutes. Oh, 5 minutes. Five minutes. Yeah, I wouldn't probably go after Reggie Jackson. He's cooked, man. He did have 8 straight points at one point against Miami last night, though. I'm not going to lie. In the first half, we watched him have 8 straight points. He still got the win. Big win, though. I'm not a fan of slow-mo. I'm not a fan of Kyle Anderson. Oh! A big-time super chat from my guy, Juggalotus. Whoa! Big trade. Well, not that big, but big for us. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading Marcus Smart and a 2025 first-round pick to the Washington Wizards in a multi-team trade that sends 2 second-round picks to Memphis. The Grizzlies just created roster flexibility with the move. It does say from Shams that the Grizzlies are trading Marcus Smart and a 2025 first-round pick to the Wizards that sends multiple second-round picks to the Grizzlies. You wonder what the Grizzlies could be getting in return? And because it says a multi-team trade, could Miami be a part of this some way to land Marcus Smart and move off Terry Rozier before the deadline, or offload one of those other contracts, Kevin Love, Haywood Highsmith, Kyle Anderson, to get underneath the luxury tax? This is a big, big trade before the deadline. And because there is some anonymity around what teams are involved in the multi-team deal, this is going to be interesting. In another trade, the Clippers are trading Kevin Porter Jr. to the Bucks for Marjon Beauchamp. I think that's unrelated to the trade that we just mentioned. Tim Reynolds says Miami's still trying one more thing with 4 minutes left. So the Heat are trying. The Heat are trying. I got to be honest. This was poor planning by us. We were just simply not doing a prize picks this close to the deadline. We could do it shortly after. Ben Simmons is a name to watch on the buyout market. I think the Heat could be involved in this. Shout out to Juggalotus. $50 super chat. Can you get that Smart trade on screen? I think they said it's updated. That's a big trade, folks. Juggalotus with the 50 gets us over 100, and it's another beer bong anyway. 2 minutes to the deadline. Will the Heat make another move before the deadline in 2 minutes? Type me or type Y for yes, N for no. Appreciate you, Juggalotus. You're a legend as always. Butler to the Warriors is not as great as a dual Heat Warriors guy. Rolly drinks again. Are you a Warriors guy too, Juggalotus? I didn't know that. But appreciate you. Juggalotus, you're a legend as always. Appreciate it. Justin, want to give some shout-outs to the people? Type in Y for yes or N for no.
Yeah, we got Sakajim, Yami, Oscar, Ed, Yami, Marno, Yami again, Johnny, Yami once again, Johnny Bravo again, Ron, Abdul, Johnny, Ponyboy, Horse Trot, Talk, Pony, Austin, Tyler, Robert, Tyler, Pony, Hot Dog.
All right, so we have a little bit of an update here on that Marcus Smart deal. One team has been announced to be involved. It's the Sacramento Kings. The Kings are acquiring Jake LaRavia, former Wake Forest first-round pick, from Memphis. So the Grizzlies have yet to get a report on receiving someone yet. All we know is that they've traded Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia, and they're getting 2 second-round picks. As we're 30 seconds from the deadline, Shams just reported that Kevin Durant will not be traded before the deadline. So no shock there. 20 seconds till the deadline. Still yet to see what is happening in that Smart deal. Can we get that one on screen? It might have bounced on you, because they're making it a 3-team deal. We also just got this trade. Kevin Porter Jr. to the Bucks for Marjon Beauchamp from the Clippers. So technically the trade deadline has passed, but as we know, trades will get announced that were sent to the league but not announced, and they were getting finalized a little bit past the deadline. So we probably got another 10 to 15 minutes before we can probably say the deadline is officially over. Stuff is still going to be announced. We're going to hear more details on this Marcus Smart 3-team deal. We'll see if Miami ultimately was able to get in on the action to get under the luxury tax or add another player. We'll have to see. We did get a $10 super chat from Anointed. We'll get that on screen soon. I'm looking to see if any Heat reporters are saying anything about Miami trying to do something. I don't think it's most impossible. The Indiana Pacers are trading James Wiseman and cash to the Raptors. Wiseman's out for the year, isn't he? I think Wiseman's out for the year. The Kings are also sending a second-round pick to Memphis, plus Colby Jones and Alex Len to Washington. So more details coming out. It's unsure if Miami is involved in that deal to get under the luxury tax or trade Terry Rozier. But Wiseman and cash to the Raptors. The Kings sent a second-round pick to Memphis. Colby Jones and Alex Len to Washington. I'll say this. The Wizards have way too many people on their roster right now. Do they not? They just got Smart. They just got Colby Jones and Alex Len. They also just got... I feel like the Wizards have too many people on their roster. Like I said, there's a lot of still moving parts. We still have 1,000 people watching. Appreciate all you guys. Chris Haynes says the Golden State Warriors are done with trades. Look for them to be aggressive on the buyout market. We'll see if the Heat are done with trades. I'm looking to see if any Heat reporters are saying anything about confirming the Heat being done. Could Marcus Smart be bought out by Washington? If he is, the Heat need to go after Smart in the buyout market. Marcus Smart may be cooked, but I would love to bring in Smart on the buyout market if he got bought out. I would expect a team like Golden State to be heavily interested in him, but the Heat are under the first apron, which would allow them to go after a guy like Marcus Smart. Because remember last year in the buyout market, because the Heat were a first apron team, they were unable to sign anyone that makes more than the mid-level $13, $14 million. But now because they're under the first apron, they are able to sign anyone in the buyout market if they create a roster spot, though. Right now they have the full max 15. I can't see. Doesn't look like anything has happened as of yet. Greg Sylvander tweeted out 3 minutes before the deadline, Heat are working really hard to finalize one more move. We'll see if one gets done. I think we got another 10 minutes potentially. Anthony Chang of the Herald just said there's a chance more deals get announced in the coming minutes. Stay tuned. So it sounds like Miami is still trying to make another move, folks. 1,078 people subscribed. Make sure you stay subscribed because I think Miami is trying their hardest or tried their hardest, and we'll see if it comes out, to get under the luxury tax in one more move. Could they have done it? Shout out to Anointed with another $10 super chat. One more B-Day shot with me before the end of the deadline. Got you, my friend. We're probably not going to call it on the deadline for another 10, 15 minutes. We'll probably go to 2:20, 2:30 maybe. Unclear. I might want to just, if they don't make a trade, we might sign off and do a video and just kind of let me collect my thoughts and look more into the financial aspects of everything before we put out that video. But if a trade does happen, we will break it down live on the channel. Shout out to you. I think they just including... Yeah, I'd say we got about 15 minutes until we officially say it's done. 2 Heat reporters saying that the Heat were working on a deal as the buzzer expounded. So we're very close. Is that true? Didn't Kobe Jones go to Washington? I thought it said Kobe Jones was going to Washington. Huh. I don't know about that one. No updates yet. We'll probably give it, like I said, another 15 minutes from now. Memphis. Bobby Mark saying Kobe Jones is going to Memphis. Yeah, okay. So Kobe Jones is going to Memphis. Is another trade going to come flying in at the buzzer regarding the Heat? 5 Reasons Sports Network just followed me. Shout out to them. I listen to all their stuff. Shout out to them. They do a great job. I shout them all the time. I love 5 Reasons Sports Network. They followed me back. Go follow. They put out great content, man. I consider them one of the most credible, I would consider them one of the most credible reporters in the Miami area. They do podcasts. They're one of the biggest basketball podcasts. The definite most big Heat podcast. They do Dolphin stuff too. I follow them all the stuff. I have a lot of respect for the crew over at 5 Reasons. Ethan Skolnick, Brady Hawk, all those guys. Will another trade? Barry Jackson just tweeted out, the Heat usually tell the reporters that when it's done, when they're done, they're done. Barry Jackson just said they have not been told the Heat are done. So we're still going. We're still going. Give me a buzzer beater, Pat. All right, while we do wait for a potential buzzer beater to come in, we still have 1,000 people watching. Let's tell the people about Prize Picks. And then we'll see if there's any update between us telling you about Prize Picks and now. So shout out to Prize Picks. Let me tell you more about them. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And the big game in football is almost here on Sunday. Don't miss out on the last football game. The best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for that game where you only need more than half a passing yard on Patrick Mahomes. Pair that up with one more stat projection that's right, and you can win real cash. Also, check out the promos tab to tell any of the Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tell a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. You can also still play daily in basketball, hockey, collegiate, professional. It does not matter. I've got an entry for tonight's action in the association. More than Kyrie Irving, 34.5 points, rebounds, assists. Less than Naz Reid, 6.5 rebounds. And then more than Anthony Simons and DeMar DeRozan combined, 40.5 points. You could also get weekly promotions on Prize Picks like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks selects certain player projections and discounts them up to 25% to provide even more value in your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your... Well, during Prize Picks, no new reports in terms of the Heat being done. So we're seeing it. We're still waiting. We're in a wait-and-see moment. We said we'd give it 15 minutes from like 2:05, so I'd say we probably have another 9 to 10 minutes until we would know officially if a trade happens or not. No, depressed Dolphins fans, there's certainly a chance. I'm not going to guarantee it, but there's certainly a chance. I'm not pulling your string trying to keep you guys engaged. I said multiple times there's been 2 reporters. What was that notification I just got? Chris Haynes' future with the Hawks is becoming murky. Offseason? Offseason? Yeah, Greg Sylvander, Barry Jackson, and Anthony Chang, hopefully I'm saying that right, all said that the Heat were working on a trade up to the buzzer, and the reporters in Miami have not been told that they're done making moves. So they're still attempting. We're 11 minutes past the deadline, and we still have a chance because the reporters have not been told that the Heat are done. A Tre Young trade is not happening. Like, for anyone in the chat thinking that there is a chance that there's a blockbuster about to be announced past the deadline, that's not going to happen. But getting underneath that luxury tax, very possible. What's up, Monty? What's up, Kane? $12 super chat. I've never seen a number like this. Do you think Miami gets Tre Young? Not now. Not right now, Kane. But in the offseason, I could see the Heat revisiting it. I thought they could have traded for Tre Young this past offseason. Probably would have cost you Tyler Hero to create a Hero, Butler, Bam kind of trio. But my question is, if you trade for Tre Young, yeah, he's a powerhouse offensively and he's a big name. Is a Hero Tre Young backcourt moving you? Now, the biggest winner of getting Tre Young would be Kel'el Ware or Bam Adebayo. Getting those two lob passes and the point guard that Tre Young is in terms of his facilitating and passing. I mean, Bam and Tre Young would be great duo. Bam and Kel'el Ware would be an unbelievable duo in terms of pick and rolls. But is Hero and Tre working? I don't know. That defense would be tough. That defense would be tough. Still probably another 8 to 9 minutes. Ethan Skolnick says no all clear reply from the team yet, which means they still have something working and maybe that was 2:13. Uh-oh. Hopefully something happens, man. But shout out to Kane. One more shot. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. What should we toast for him this time? Let's do Game 6, 2022 Eastern Conference Finals. Heat 1 seed, down 3-2. Jimmy banged up. Goes into Boston. 30-plus point performance. Dagger fadeaway in front of the Heat or the Celtics bench. Forced a Game 7. Unfortunately, we know what happened. Heat lost. Jimmy Butler missed that right wing three, which would have put Miami up with about 10, 15 seconds left. But that Game 6 performance to force a Game 7 and come back to Miami in 2022 Eastern Conference Finals, shout out to Jimmy. $1,100 people watching. We still have a potential move coming. I say potential. I don't guarantee one coming back, but it's possible. It's possible. It would be a move probably to try to get underneath the first apron, or excuse me, the luxury tax. They're already underneath the first apron. I would guess that if they make a trade, it would be Kyle Anderson, maybe a Haywood Highsmith. I don't think it would be a big-time Rozier move. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a Rozier goes to Washington for Marcus Smart. Maybe it is. I would be ecstatic. I would be through the roof. Marcus Smart has not been good statistically this year, but he's a much better fit next to Tyler Hero. And boy, do I want Terry Rozier off the roster. Still nothing. Still no tweets from a Heat beat reporter saying Miami's done. There's still a chance. There's still a chance. With 1,100 people watching, there's still a chance, folks. This is why you subscribe to the channel. I'm Nic Rohloff. We put out daily content. We go live for the big events in the NBA around the Heat. We break the news. We talk about it. We party. We do it all. We're live for almost every Heat basketball game, too, here on YouTube. Hit that sub button. Will one come across the wire late? Usually I give it about 15 to 30 minutes past the deadline. We're 18 minutes past the deadline. We're getting close to that, like, come on. Joshua says Lakers just signed Ben Simmons. Well, he hasn't been bought out yet, so. Also, for the people in the chat that have said Ben Simmons come to Miami, I know you're supposed to keep it separately. It's hard for me to really fathom Simmons coming here because Ben Simmons' his agent, same agent as Jimmy Butler, Bernie Lee. Do I see those two working together right now? Down the line? Maybe. Right now? Probably not. For Simmons, Cavs in Cleveland and Houston, according to Windy. For Simmons, it does sound like Simmons might get bought out. I wonder if Bruce Brown gets bought out. If he gets bought out, I would expect Miami to pursue him pretty heavily if they create a roster spot here in a second. If Marcus Smart gets bought out and isn't traded, I could expect the Heat to go after him. I would agree. There's really no point in Washington holding on to Smart unless they want to just hold on to his $20 million expiring next year. Because it is a 2-year deal for Smart. So he's under contract just like Terry Rozier this year and next year. Slightly cheaper. But I like Smart, even though Smart's statistics and numbers haven't been as good. He's a better defender than Rozier. I think he won't be as bad as a fit. Right, yeah, he's a better true point guard in my opinion, too. Nothing yet, folks. Still waiting. Wizards are trading Marvin Bagley to the Grizzlies in that deal. Johnny Davis also sent to Memphis. I don't know if that impacts anything on Miami's side if the Heat were trying to get into that deal, but they opted for Bagley and Johnny Davis instead. But I did say that the Wizards had too many people on their roster. And it finally came out that they're sending away 2 guys. Johnny Davis, former lottery pick out of Wisconsin. Man, he was so good in college. True freshman, one-and-done guy. He was so good. He never did anything in the NBA. He was so bad. His jump shots broke. He had like a hitch. He got falsed. Still no duns from Heat beat reporters as of now. Ethan Skolnick, 5 minutes ago, basketball still working on a deal at the deadline. League gives some leeway for call-ins since line gets backed up. Let's see. This happened with Oladipo. We talked about that earlier. We're 21 minutes past the deadline, and there is still another chance Miami makes a move to get underneath that luxury tax. Come on. We're not done yet. I'm not going to lie. It's bad that I'm getting this excited about maybe a salary dumping move, but if this tweet notification from Barry Jackson saying no more trades, the Heat are done, it's going to be a shot to the chest. I don't know why it's a shot to the chest, but it is. Joshua says, do you think it could be Palo Larson being traded? Listen, I didn't think about that. I would be bummed because I like Larson. But could Larson be attached to Terry Rozier to incentivize the team taking him? Instead of second-round picks, you send your actual second-round pick from a year ago? Maybe. I wouldn't love it. But be honest, would you guys trade Larson and Rozier for Marcus Smart? You get underneath the luxury tax, you move off of Rozier, and you get Smart. Why for yes and for no? I just verbalized that trade. Rozier and Larson for Smart. Would you do it? Pretty split. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to change this to the live poll, actually. I'm fascinated to see the actual percentages. Rozier and Larson for Smart. New live poll as well. I want to see the actual 50-50 potential split. So get your votes in. Rozier and Larson for Smart. Why would the Heat do it? They get underneath the luxury tax. They create an $11 million trade exception. You save Mickey Harrison $24 million. Rozier is not a good fit on this roster. It would suck to get rid of Larson. But to be fair, Larson doesn't get a lot of PT right now. He could get playing time next year and in the future, but he doesn't really do it this year. Still nothing. Still waiting. This live poll is close. 155 votes, 53% yes, now 52%, now 51%. This is almost as 50-50 split as I've ever seen a live poll on this channel. Nothing yet, as we still wait. No update. No update. Nothing yet. 24 minutes passed. We will not officially call it until I see a Heat reporter tweet that the Heat are done making moves, because they do it every year. Every year, a Heat beat reporter will tweet out either right at the deadline, 10 minutes before the deadline, or 2 minutes after the deadline. Doesn't matter. That the Heat are done making moves before the deadline. They have yet to do that, and we are 24 minutes after. And it was widely reported that the Heat were trying one more thing like 4 minutes before the technical deadline. The NBA provides leeway because they know that the phone lines get backed up and stuff like that. So there's still a potential trade out there. The Sixers just signed Shuma Akiki to a 10-day contract. Daniel Tice is getting bought out. So he's going to be on the free agent market. Yeah, not someone that I would have ever wanted. Remember when they said Daniel Tice and Bam Adebayo were very similar in terms of what they brought to the table before the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Taking a re-looking at our live poll, 250 votes, 52% say yes to trading Rozier and Larson for Smart. Very split. I don't even know if I don't know how I lean. As much as I want Terry Rozier off the roster, it would be tough to part ways with Pilo Larson. But you get underneath the luxury tax and you get a better fit on your team in Marcus Smart. Yeah, just make sure you're unmuted. You can stay unmuted the entire time.
What if I could promise you, though, that Marcus Smart would come in, do his role, run the offense, play solid defense, and at minimum, take maybe 4 shots a game?
Yeah, I'm not asking Marcus Smart to take a lot of shots. All I'm asking Marcus to do is handle the ball, play make a little bit, and then hit an open catch and shoot 3 when Hero gets downhill and draws a pair. That's all I ask. Better defender as well.
Let's see. How many shots a game does he take?
He's shooting very bad from the field. You don't want to look at those numbers.
I'm not saying, obviously a discussion would have to be had of, no. You're not here to go hunt your shot.
Yeah.
You are here to be a point guard.
27 minutes past the deadline, and we have yet to get a confirmation that the Heat are done making deals. We know with an absolute certainty that the Heat are still trying to make a deal. We know that. It's been reported by Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Barry Jackson, Anthony Chang, the Herald, 5 Reasons Sports Network. They're all saying, also the AP, Tim Reynolds, saying that the Heat are trying to get one more deal done to get underneath the luxury tax before this is all said and done. It's not a big one. It's not a big trade. It would be a very little trade. But we're not signing off until we get confirmed sources and reports that we're done making moves before the deadline. We are now 28 minutes past the alleged trade deadline.
All right, what if I could promise you he's shooting 8 shots a game right now? What if I could promise you that he shoots 5?
Marcus is putting up 8 a game?
Yeah, 7.8 field goal attempts.
Wow. Yeah, if you promise me 5, I'm in. Yeah, I mean, I actually think I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, because Terry shooting 11.1 right now.
Yeah, dude, Rozier jacks, and he takes bad shot selections. Now, I'll say this. Marcus Smart has never been known to take
Pass
good
up a
shots.
3.
But I think as he's matured a little bit, it's gotten better. For the people asking if Wiggins is going to play tomorrow, no. I think he makes his debut on Monday against the Celtics. Will it happen? We're still waiting to see. We're still waiting to see. 29 minutes past the deadline. This is insane. I like the Victor Oladipo move. What is it? 4 years ago at this point? Was it 21 when we traded for him? The Rockets, I think it was. I remember I was in my junior. It was my junior year of college. So yeah, 2021. I remember that happened like 30 minutes after the deadline. We're like right there. I am stunned that no beat reporter has tweeted out that a move is happening or not happening. Yeah, we're still $2.8 million over the luxury tax, but a trade could still be coming. The NBA does give leeway. I just can't. I mean, Austin or Chef Trilly on Twitter. He's a half troll, half serious guy. He's a funny follow to me. He just tweeted this out. How have all these Miami motherfuckers all stopped tweeting at once? I completely agree. We have had radio silence from every Heat reporter for 20 minutes. Barry confirmed that the Heat were still working on something past the deadline, but we've had legitimately 24, 25 minutes of silence from all the Heat beat reporters. It's insane. It tells me that the Heat are really trying to make something happen, and they don't want to report false news or call it done just yet.
All Heat reporters going off the grid is the biggest blue ball ever.
Who said that? Or you?
No, it's just some tweet on like the latest on Miami Heat.
I can't believe this. It's radio silent. How have we heard nothing yet? This is insane. I cannot get over this. Could you imagine onions at the buzzer, Rozier go off this roster? I mean, that would be the biggest thing of all time.
That's what I said. Would you upgrade Pat's grade to an A?
Right now, what did I have? I think I have this deadline at a... I'm in between a... I'll go B+. I'll go B+. Right now, my official grade is a B+ on the Heat's trade deadline. I think they did a good job getting back Andrew Wiggins and a first-round pick. I like the Davion Mitchell. I don't love the idea of sending out 2 second-round picks and stuff like that, but I like Davion Mitchell. I like Andrew Wiggins. I love the first-round pick. If they are able to make a trade, pass the buzzer to get under the luxury tax and not give up a crazy asset, or get Terry Rozier off the roster, it's getting upgraded into the A's.
Come on, Pat.
I guess I'll ask this right now while we still wait for a potential announcement of the Heat being done or not. Grade the Heat's trade deadline so far. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the Heat's trade deadline so far. Still nothing.
You turn in that extra credit assignment, Pat, or you don't pass the class.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Get the extra credit in or you're not passing. I still can't get over dead silence. It's been 25 minutes since any of these beat reporters in Miami have tweeted.
Let's you want
Barry Jackson update. Again, he usually tells the writers when it's safe to report they're done. That has not been conveyed yet. It usually does happen quickly after 3, but they have not been told they're done. So, wait a minute. So, we're still live, I think. We're still live. I would imagine that the Heat front office, like these beat reporters, 1,000% reached out to the front office and asked, "Are you guys done making moves?" And if they were, they would respond, "Yes." But they're busy, so they can't respond right now. That's the way I'm taking this. The Heat are trying to get another deal done. Will it get done? I don't know. I'm not here to guarantee that another trade is happening. So if you get mad at me for making you stay here and watch, that's on you. But we know for a certainty that they are still trying to get a deal done. It's just a matter of if they will. Still waiting. The wait and see game. I guess we should. I mean, it's been another 30 minutes. We should probably. We're supposed to tell you guys about Prize Picks every 30 minutes on the live show today. So since we're still waiting, 1,100 people watching, make sure you guys get hooked up with Prize Picks. Let me tell you more about them. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And the big game in football is almost here on Sunday. Don't miss out on the last football game. The best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for that game where you only need more than half a passing yard on Patrick Mahomes. Pair that up with one more stat projection that's right, and you can win real cash. Also, check out the promos tab to tell any of the Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tell a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. You can also still play daily in basketball, hockey, collegiate, professional, it does not matter. I've got an entry for tonight's action in the association. More than Kyrie Irving, 34.5 points, rebounds, assists. Less than Naz Reid, 6.5 rebounds. And then more than Anthony Simons and DeMar DeRozan combined, 40.5 points. You could also get weekly promotions on Prize Picks like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks selects certain player projections and discounts them up to 25% to provide even more value in your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your one. So we're back here after that. No updates yet. Still nothing. I wish they just came out and said nothing was happening. This wait and see game is driving me nuts. The wait and see game is driving me nuts. I would love to just see or just have it be officially announced as over or not. I'd love that. I want it to be done. Crazy. It really is crazy.
You see this Mark Stein tweet about Caleb Martin?
No, what's the Caleb Martin tweet? Is it the one earlier today?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
About his timeline?
Yeah, Caleb Martin got traded. Found out it was like his injury was much more severe. I think the Sixers had to attach another pick onto it, right?
Something like that, yeah.
I think that's how that went. We're still waiting, folks. I hate to hold y'all like this. I don't want to be held hostage either. We're the only. We had about 4 or 5 channels go live in Chat Sports for the deadline. Celtics, Warriors, Mavericks, Knicks, Heat, Bulls, main Chat Sports. So 7 in total channels. We are the only channel still live because we are the only team that has not been confirmed, been done on the at the deadline.
And I think the only team that made a move today.
And the only team that made a move. Yeah, the Bulls didn't make a trade today.
Celtics didn't
make a trade today. The Knicks didn't make a trade today. They made a move last night. Warriors didn't make another move. The Mavs didn't make another move. You're right. We are the only team that made a move today. All the moves for our Chat Sports teams happened yesterday and beyond. Well, the Sixers technically made a trade.
Oh, they're not. Well, they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they made that trade earlier today too. What was that deal again? Like something second round picks? Didn't they trade another Reggie Jackson?
Yes.
And then he got waived.
So nothing.
5 Reasons Sports Network just tweeted out 4 seconds ago. Still no official all clear from the Heat. Chef Trilly just tweeted out, where were you on February 6, 2025 when fans waited 45 minutes for a Kyle Anderson salary dump announcement? I quote tweeted it and said, live on the Heat Report with over 1,000 people, baby. Appreciate all the real ones still hanging out with us here. Appreciate all the real ones still hanging out with us here as we wait to see if Miami is able to find a set. Holy, I didn't realize it's 2:40. I didn't realize it's been 45 minutes. It's legitimately been 40 minutes. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I cannot fathom this. Still nothing for Miami, man. Muhammad, who says, I'm missing the first half of the Liverpool game for this. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Monty says, I got you on my TV. Appreciate you, Monty. Monty's a real one. He's been here at the channel for a long time. Hot Dog says, Terry Rozier traded. I will not be got. I am not seeing that. Well, if I see it, I'll report it. Mark Stein says, potential buyout market candidate. Lonnie Walker has an escape clause in his EuroLeague contract, which means I think Lonnie can leave the EuroLeague up until February 18th, which is 12 days away. Maybe Lonnie Walker gets another NBA look. Jack, when does the deadline end? The deadline ended 41 minutes ago. But the NBA oftentimes gives leeway to teams to finalize deals slightly after the deadline passes because their lines get backed up with people calling them about deals. Other teams around the league have calls. So I think the Heat, we joke about usually at 25, 30 minutes is usually when it officially passes past the deadline. But, the Heat beat reporters for the Herald for 5 Region Sports Network, they've all reported that the Heat have not told them that they are done making trades today. Which means there is a chance that another deal comes across the timeline revolving Miami. We'll see. I'm going to feel bad for the 1,100 people watching if we don't get another trade, but hey, it is what it is. I'm just telling you what is being reported. I'm just telling you what's getting reported and how we'll react to it.
See an NBA on an ESPN graphic talking about the new Wizards duo.
Oh,
it's Marcus Smart.
ESPN Twitter saying new Wizards duo. It's Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton. Gross. I also don't think that means that they're holding on to Marcus Smart. It's not like NBA on ESPN knows anything. I just can't believe they made a Photoshop of Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart. Dex says, question, what's the buyout market looking like? You'll know tomorrow, my friend. We're going to find out where the Heat are at in terms of not making a trade, making a trade shortly. We'll sign off, make a video about that, and then the video that we'll put out tomorrow morning will be about the buyout market. So be on the lookout for that. But off the top of my head, Daniel Tice has been bought out. Reggie Jackson has been bought out. There's rumors about Bruce Brown, rumors about Andre Drummond, Ben Simmons, Lonnie Walker. Here's Tommy Breer said potential names the Knicks could target on the buyout market. Here are some players that can be named or could be waived. Javonte Green, Chris Boucher, PJ Tucker, Larry Nance, Daniel Tice, Jane Springer, Bones Highland, Seth Curry, Josh Richardson, Taj Gibson, Lonnie Walker, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Reggie Jackson. And then you've also got maybe some big-name players, Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, Bojan Bogdanovic, Malcolm Brogdon, Ben Simmons. If Brogdon got bought out, hello. If Brogdon got bowed out, I would legitimately send the house to get him. I don't know what it would require, but I would do it. Tim Reynolds from the AP just tweeted out the second apron would be an outstanding band name. Tim, I'm trying to hear if the Heat are done making moves or not. That's all I care about. But there was a small list there. Not small, it's actually a pretty big list of potential buyout candidates. Oh, this is exhausting. This is killing me. Killing me, I say. I'm almost like you guys. I want this just to be announced and over. Some other stuffs I got to do here at Chat Sports. I want to move on with my day. $2 super chat from Frederick. We'll get that on screen here in just a second.
All right, here we go.
Shout out to Frederick, $2 super chat. It was also his first timer. 2 claps for Frederick in the chat. Appreciate you. And then you also, I saw you comment, says, well, there was a question. Can the Heat release Terry? They will not. They could technically buy him out. They won't, though. Too expensive. Plus, he's going to have a little bit of value. It's not the worst value in the world. Like, he is a bad basketball player for the Miami Heat. There's no debating that. But next year, he's a $26 million expiring. Yeah, you could also trade him in the offseason and use that contract. Like, I don't want to speculate, guys, but, like, just think about this. In the offseason, if a star became available, Andrew Wiggins is making $28 million next year. Terry Rozier is making $26. That combines for $54 million. That is a max level player. Another list of potential buyout candidates just came out. Curry, Seth Curry, Cam Reddish, Josh Richardson, Springer, Patty Mills. Hell no, don't bring him back. Jalen Hood-Schifino, I feel like, is not getting bought out. But I would do everything in my power to get Jalen Hood-Schifino on the buyout market. I wanted the Heat to draft him at 18.
You're a believer?
2 years ago, I was a Jalen Hood-Schifino. I'll never sell my stock. I was convinced he was going to be a star. Not a star, but a high-level player in the NBA. Out of Indiana, lengthy, great arm length, good height, athleticism. Never had it work in Los Angeles. I doubt Utah would buy him. Why would they do that? I know they have a lot of other young players ahead of him on the roster, but why would they do that? I'd also take a flyer on Cam Reddish. I've always wanted Cam Reddish in Miami. I actually vividly remember, Justin, when when Jalen Hood-Schifino was picked 1 pick ahead of Miami.
Hami?
Yeah, Jaquez was the 18th pick. Hood-Schifino was the 17th pick. The Lakers took Hood-Schifino. When they took him, I audibly screamed in the Chat Sports offices, fuck. I was so mad. Because the Heat in that offseason needed a guard so badly. And that was before all the Damian Lillard stuff, by the way. And, like, obviously the Heat went after Dame and tried to get him because they needed a guard. They needed a true point guard to help. And I thought Hood-Schifino was going to be a good mid to late first round pick fine. And I was pissed when he got picked ahead of us.
Ironically, this offseason, I think Laker fans would agree with you. I think they would want to switch. I don't know about now.
Yeah. Still nothing. We're 50 minutes past the deadline, and we're still waiting to see if the Heat are done or not. At this point, I really do think nothing's going to happen. But until the Heat reporters get told nothing's going to happen, I'm not signing off. We still have over 1,000 people watching. The drop-off as soon as I tell the chat that we're not making a move is going to be hilarious. I'd be willing to bet within 30 seconds it goes from 1,000 to 500. AZ says, I'm about to call them myself. Fuck, am I going to have to... But I might be able to fly to Miami, get the answer myself, and by the time I get back, I don't think it'd be reported yet.
Pat Riley's going to tell you, we're still finalizing some things. Don't you worry.
Oh, Sulan is in the building. What's up, Sulan? Changed his name to Jimmy Butler to best. I can't. That's what I'm saying, Anthony. That's kind of where I'm at in myself right now. That's kind of how I feel. There's just like no way that we could have the Heat be telling the reporters that they're not done or not responding to anything for 51 minutes if something wasn't going to happen. That's me referring to Anthony Cruz, by the way.
There it is.
Dude, I think something definitely happening. The science is so weird. It's so weird. Like, I remember, like, the Heat tell the reporters when they're done making moves. And Barry Jackson says it every year. Heat are done. But it hasn't happened. I don't think it's big. I want this abundantly clear. I don't think it's a big move. I think it's a salary dumping move. Kendrick Perkins is on NBA Today saying, what's the 5 best moves of the deadline? They labeled Andrew Wiggins to the Heat at number 5.
I'm curious about what the other list is.
Yeah, Big Perks, best moves before deadline. Wiggins to the Heat are 5. Number 4 is Kuzma to the Bucks. I don't know what the hell that was, but okay. Someone says, can Davion Mitchell and Rozier play together? Ideally, no. I mean, they probably could, but ideally, I wouldn't want them to. Rozier's about 6'2". He's got really good wingspan, though, but he's a shorter guard. Davion Mitchell, 6 feet tall as well, so 2 smaller guards. Now, Mitchell's a really good defender, but I would not want to do that. De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs is number 3. Does that mean he's not going to have Jimmy on here?
He's probably going to be 2.
No, because what about Luka to the Lakers, Anthony Davis to the Mavs?
Yeah.
You're telling me Andrew Wiggins to the Heat is a better move than one of those two? Like, you can hate the Mavericks for making that trade. There's AD to the Mavs. Luka's got to be number 1. So that means Kendrick Perkins just said, now I don't really think Kendrick Perkins is that good at basketball, like actually speaking about the game. But Kendrick Perkins just said on NBA Today that Andrew Wiggins to the Heat is a better move than Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. I got to tweet that out. Just said on ESPN NBA Today that Andrew Wiggins to the Heat is a better move than Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. Now, if you were to tell me that it was a better move than Kuzma to the Bucks, I'd believe you. If you would have told me that Jimmy to the Warriors was number 4, okay. I'm stunned that Jimmy Butler didn't make the list. I mean, this is exhausting. Oh, Dennis, yeah. Niko Jovic he's going to close. He's definitely going to close. It is NBA Today, right?
The show? Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. This is killing me. How do we not have knowledge on if this is done or not? Joe Lacob, or no, what's his name? Damn it. No, it's not Lacob. Bob Myers.
Yeah.
It's tripping. Just said that he just believes Jimmy to the Warriors is like third on the list. I can't believe Kendrick Perkins actually put Andrew Wiggins to the Heat as a better move, or best move over Jimmy to the Warriors.
No bias, Bob Myers.
I get it. Like, I don't agree with a lot. I disagree with Kendrick Perkins a ton. Like, I don't think he is that good of an analyst, if I'm going to be honest. But it is pretty funny to have him say that. Shout out to the username 8 Mile Kneecaps. He says that I just found your Twitter by typing exactly what you tweeted in the search bar because I'm watching your stream. I'm crying. You know what? That's getting a follow back. Also, a Michigan State fan. Looks like that. Michigan State hoops. Tom Izzo, baby. Yo, like, actually, I'm about to freak out, though. It's been an hour. It's been an hour. This is at this point, I'm getting upset now.
I got some news for you.
News from Justin. What's the news?
Josh Richardson, Jalen Hood-Schifino to be waived by the Jazz.
Hood-Schifino is getting waived.
Yeah.
I need you to send me that tweet. I don't care if he stinks. I want Jalen Hood-Schifino. This is a personal vendetta. This is a personal vendetta for me. I don't know if vendetta is the right word, but I want it.
There you go.
I want it. Please. Bring me Jalen Hood-Schifino. He can't be that bad. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I've been a fan of him since he was at college in Indiana. I wanted the Heat to draft him at 18. Bring me Jalen Hood-Schifino. Now I need the Heat to get off of him or get off of a contract, so we have an open roster spot to give me Schifino. I don't care. I've wanted him on the Heat for 2+ years. I can't say 2+. Like, it's only been 1.5, but how crazy is it, by the way, that he got waived as a 17th overall pick and he hasn't even completed 2 years in the league?
Tells you how bad it is.
Can he be that bad? Is it humanly possible?
He never cracked the lineup with the Lakers.
I know
Ronnie
he never cracked the lineup.
James was ahead of him in the rotation.
All right. When did we do our last prize picks, Reed?
We need to do it.
Hold on. Let me just see. Let me see how far back did we. I can't believe we have to do another one. I can't believe we're still live.
Mid-chlorianus.
23 minutes ago. So we got another. Let's go another 7 minutes. So let's go 3:05. If we're still live at 3:05, we'll do another read then.
Mid-chlorianus. Jalen Hood-Schifino better than Josh Christopher. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. He might be that bad.
What's worse, atomic bomb or I don't know. Basically one and the same. But
DeAndre says, why Jalen Hood-Schifino? Let me pull up my 2023 draft notes. This is going to be fun. This is how we pass the time. Can you put up a weigh-in? Are the Heat making another trade? Will Manso said all of us waiting for the official thumbs up on a Jimmy Butler trade detail. Like it's still not been confirmed, man. That's the crazy part about this. It is not confirmed. 2023 NBA draft. I had Jalen Hood-Schifino as my 13th overall prospect. Let me read off this. Jalen Hood-Schifino, coming into the league, 20 years old, 6'4", 6'10" wingspan. The +6 wingspan, lengthy, he defended. He averaged 13.5 points per game. He shot 33% from 3 at Indiana. I labeled him as one of the better mid-range shooters in the draft. Inconsistent, but when at his best, no one could guard him because he got to the rim, he got to the mid-range. He elevated over his defenders with ease. Good on-ball defender. He's got a good frame. What was my comp? Justin, what was my comp to Jalen Hood-Schifino in the 2023 NBA draft process? It is someone that we have talked about quite a bit today. I'll give you a hint there.
Trying to think. As a trade target or as a...
I'm just going to say, in general, we have talked about my player comp for Jalen Hood-Schifino coming out of the draft quite a bit today.
Brogdon?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I compared him coming out of Indiana to Malcolm Brogdon.
I could see that.
That's what I did because he defended at a decent level. He was in the mid-range.
You would think that a 6'5" lead guard that can theoretically shoot from every level would find some minutes in the NBA.
I feel like I got to go back and find Jalen Hood-Schifino, and I got to tweet out his highlights. That's how much I want Jalen Hood-Schifino. Someone says, imagine if we get Embiid. Yeah, that ain't going to happen, man. Just can't tell me, man. You can't tell me this dude is a bad basketball player. Sign. Give me Hood-Schifino. I want him. You can't tell me he's a bad player. I simply refuse. I'm watching his highlights again. You can't tell me he's a bad player. Him and Trace Jackson-Davis were running a dirty pick and roll, man. You can't tell me he's bad. I don't care. Dude, his jumper is kind of clean too, man. I'm telling you. If y'all want to see the guy I'm talking about, Jalen Hood-Schifino, like a 2-minute reel of his college highlights, go peep my last tweet on Twitter. Bro, he's tough. I want him bad. Ethan J. Skolnick at 258. Still nada in terms of official word unless someone else reported it. No one else has. No one else has. I don't know. At what point do we just, call it ourselves? I don't want to call it. We have 950 people watch it. If the Heat make another trade, we're going to have a good audience here. I think we're the only people still live. We'll see, Shane. We'll see. But it is, we said if it's 3:05 and we're still live, we'll tell you about Prize Picks one more time. So let me tell you about Prize Picks one more time, and then hopefully we have a resolution coming within the next 5 to 10 minutes because this is getting enough. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And the big game in football is almost here on Sunday. Don't miss out on the last football game. the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for that game where you only need more than half a passing yard on Patrick Mahomes. Pair that up with one more stat projection that's right, and you can win real cash. Also, check out the promos tab to tell any of the Super Sweat Millie winners big game lineups. If you tell a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. You can also still play daily in basketball, hockey, collegiate, professional. It does not matter. I've got an entry for tonight's action in the association. More than Kyrie Irving, 34.5 points, rebounds, assists. Less than Naz Reid, 6.5 rebounds. And then more than Anthony Simons and DeMar DeRozan combined, 40.5 points. You could also get weekly promotions on PrizePicks like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks selects certain player projections and discounts them up to 25% to provide even more value in your lineups. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your... I saw someone on Twitter saying that Pat Riley got Adam Silver on hold while he finished his Judge Judy. I'm crying. I'm crying. I'm crying. Yo, someone quote tweeted my tweet and said I might be onto something with Jalen Hood-Schifino. I'm telling you. I'm taking the flyer. Listen, is he going to impact the Miami Heat this season? Probably not. But why not sign him to a standard contract on the buyout market if you free up a roster spot, send him to the G League, get him in your developmental system. You pride yourself on being able to develop talent. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson. This dude has real talent. He was a 17th overall pick. Someone that I thought should have been a lottery pick in 2023. So it's like, get him in your building. He's got the size, the length, the athleticism. Work with your developmental staff. G League, offseason, summer league. I don't care.
I think it would also complete the Lakers Heat inverse.
Yeah, that'd be quite something. Lakers fans complaining they took Jalen Hood-Schifino ahead of Jaime Jaquez Jr. in 2023, and both of them are on the Heat in 2024.
Well, also think about it this way too. Gabe Vincent been ass.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been better. He's been better of late, but he's been ass. Kendrick Nunn never played.
That's right. You guys did take a couple guards from him.
How annoying would it be for the Heat to turn his career around?
Yeah. We've been live for 3+ hours on the channel. We're just breaking down everything around the Miami Heat, man. This is why you subscribe. This is why you subscribe. Apparently, non-NBA talk. Joe Burrow saying that, or telling the front office that he wants to see T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Trey Hendrickson, and Mike Gesicki all paid.
I, too, would like to see Rihanna, Zendaya, and everybody else in my
What if he
messages.
doesn't? What if they don't? Is Joe Burrow going to request a trade? No. Dude, I can't believe this. I can't. I don't get it. Dak, it's not like the Heat reporters are doing nothing. They've talked to the Heat front office. They've reached out to them. They're trying to figure out if the Heat are done or not. But I don't think the Heat are. There's no reason for the Heat not to tell their reporters if they're done or not, unless they're working on something. Still, which is hard to fathom an hour and 10 minutes after the deadline. I don't think it's the reporters, man. Maybe it is.
I'm looking at that video where they're telling the Heat bench about the trade. That dude, Hami, looks like he's like, oh shit, was I included?
Yeah. Ethan Skolnick just reported said that I feel like if I text them again, I'll get left on red for good. Like I said, it's not like these reporters aren't reaching out to the front office trying to figure out if they're done or not. I'd love to know if we're done or not. Like at this point, I am going to be furious with the front office if it comes out that they're done. You made me wait an hour and plus to think that a trade was going to happen because you didn't tell your beat reporters that you were done for it to fall through and not get done. I will freak out.
Uh-oh. Give me a second.
I will freak out. We'll see. We're still waiting. Shane, good point. We're on Kyle Anderson's pace. He might be one of the players getting traded. I mean, these deals got to get finalized soon, man. Like, they usually get finalized after the trade deadline. Like, stuff like that, but... Shout out Jorge, $10 super chat. Heater operating on Cuban time. I'm crying. Sebastian's saying 4:30, call it quits. That's in 28 minutes. What is he talking about? Dude, this is crazy. I can't get it. Unbelievable. Shrink the pain away? Not going to do that. This is unbelievable. I cannot believe this. Clippers are a potential destination on the buyout market in Corner Shams. I'm actually starting to flip my opinion. I don't think a trade's happening. But that would also mean that the Heat front office is just openly not responding to its reporters, and why would they do that?
I'm at a loss for words too.
Because Ethan Skolnick just said 1 minute ago, no reporter has gotten the all clear. Well, Nick Sands is crazy how everything's gone dead, not with the Heat, just everything. Because nobody's, like, it should be done. The trade deadline should be done. And yeah, there's about a 15 to 30-minute grace period. But the fact that we're on an hour and 15 minutes, that's ridiculous. This is unheard of. But I also don't want to be the guy that calls it, signs off, and then it happens. Like 15 minutes after I sign off. I'd be so mad you don't even understand. It's not a big move. It's likely just a salary dumping move, guys. But I still want to be live to break it down because it does matter for Miami. Jaden Springer got waived. Chill. Listen, no joking about Pat Riley going to the hospital. No joking about that. I don't know, I don't. I can't believe that we have not got more updates. I'll say this right now. If any of you guys in the chat are holding out hope that it's a blockbuster like Trae Young trade, that you're setting yourself up for failure. I know for 1,000% certainty that if a trade gets announced, I don't know for an absolute 1,000% certainty, but I know in my heart that it's likely just going to be a expiring or like a minuscule contract coming off the books to get Miami under the luxury tax. I know that. The question is it going to be Anderson? Is it going to be Rozier? Is it going to be Kevin Love? Is it going to be Haywood Highsmith? That's the only thing I'm waiting for to figure out that. And I want to react live with all you guys.
Honestly, I think getting off that Rozier salary would be a blockbuster move.
I mean, yeah, if Rozier somehow got traded an hour and 15 minutes after the deadline, like, that's a massive move. We're, like, having a party here at the channel. Andrew Wiggins Muse says Wiggins is expected to make his Miami Heat debut tomorrow against the Nets. Is that I don't know. No one else has said that. I don't know if I believe Wiggins Muse. Rozier's contract, 2 years left. He's getting paid $24.9 million this season and $26.6 million next year. Doc, I wish, man, but that's not happening. I promise if you're trying to get me in the live chat by sending in fake news reports, I won't fall for it because I am so tapped in with my tabs up right now. There's a 0% chance in the world where any of you guys would see the news before I did. When it revolves the Miami Heat. You want to talk about buyout, players getting bought out? Sure, but when it comes to the Heat making a move, I'll be the first one to let you guys know. $2 super chat from Levi. Damn, this taking long. Is Rozier getting traded? Oh, boy. Probably not. If a move comes in after the wire, I'm guessing it's Kyle Anderson. That's my guess. If I had to predict if there's a move. We'll see, though. Oh, I am refreshing, folks. Don't you worry about me. Don't you worry about me. AK, the GM of the Bulls, on an Alonzo Ball extension. He's so good for this team and our players. They love him. Could have been a Miami Heat. Actually, I guess not. Bulls were never going to trade him. I wanted him, though. For the people that say he's not good because of his raw box score numbers, he does a lot of stuff that is good for the team, to winning basketball. Did we get another super chat, or was this it?
I think that's it.
Yeah, that was it. My bad.
Oh, because, the preview.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Nick says they all went home and aren't getting calls. Heat beat is just calling empty offices. No chance. Yeah, King Mystic. That's how I am. When I'm looking at all these trades happening, it's all to happen in the future. I don't think the Heat can win a title now. I've been very clear about that. I said that with Jimmy Butler, though, to be fair. Don't disagree with you, Anthony. I really like that front court. I'm fascinated to see how they work together. I got to be honest. I think I'm calling in 10 minutes. I don't know I'm going to put a 10-minute timer on this live stream, guys. The Heat very well might make another trade. And will I kill myself and punish myself if it happens 5 minutes after I go live? Yes. But we have other stuff to do here. Got other videos to make on the Heat channel. Have to probably help with the NBA channel as well. Main Chat Sports. And if a trade isn't done in the next 9 minutes, we're calling it. Now, with that being said, if we get off stream and say 20 minutes later Terry Rozier is announced as a trade, we're going back live. We're going live for the Terry Rozier if Terry Rozier gets traded. We'll break down if any move happens. We'll make a video at worst. But in terms of staying live on the channel, 8 minutes is our timer. 3:30. Who has the best lineup in the NBA? Thunder. Mavericks starters after the Anthony Davis trade. Gafford, Washington, Anthony Davis, Kyrie, and Clay. It's not a bad 5. Obviously, you still don't trade Luka Doncic, but... Some Lakers fan. Actually, I can't even say it's a Lakers fan because they're ready for this. This is their bio. Hashtag Shafino fan. Hashtag Lake Show. Hashtag take note. Hashtag different here. Hashtag Thunder up. Hashtag Jamal Murray believer. It's quite an interesting Twitter user.
Run them again. Hood, Shafino, Murray.
For what?
What was the other people?
Oh, Jamal Murray, like Lakers, Celtics, Nuggets, like very strange. Whoa. Hold on, folks. Kevin Love might have just broken the news. Give me a second. Oh. Never mind. I got. I didn't realize he posted this an hour ago. Kevin Love said, generational run, just posting IG reels. I thought Kevin Love might have said, like, he got caught or retired or some shit like that, but no. Guess. Never mind. My bad. My bad. 5 minutes until we're signing off. I can't take it anymore. We're giving them 5.5 minutes. If nothing gets announced, we're signing off. Kevin Love retired from trolling on Instagram. Someone said in my chat or my mentions on Twitter, Miami Heat office all sleeping or Jimmy assassinated Pat. Jimmy Butler assassinated Pat Riley. Hilarious. 4.5 minutes until we call it. Nah, We're calling it, man. We got to get off and do other things. I also have an 8 lunch. Justin has an 8 lunch. We're starving over here, man. At least I am. I don't know about you.
Oh,
Yeah, Justin says he's starving. I'm not sure, Major. I think it's more likely that he plays on Monday, but Wiggins Muse on Twitter said tomorrow. Nick Sand says the generational stream run is over. Are you talking today? What do you mean stream run? Just today? We'll be live on the channel again tomorrow. Heat Nets. We'll be live. Three minutes until we're calling it. How about that? No, everybody else here at Chat Sports signed off of their watch part or their live shows for the NBA trade deadline an hour and a half ago, and we're still here. We're still here. We're still here. Two minutes. Dos manitos. Still refreshing my feeds. I'm starting to think the Heat front office just didn't respond. I mean, there's just no way. The NBA will allow leeway on getting a deal done, but I just like an hour and a half. That's too much. There's no way. There's no way, in my opinion. Anthony, I don't disagree, but if the Heat front office didn't tell them they're done, then they can't report they're done because they weren't told that. They have no sources to report that on. Listen, I like the optimism, Anthony. You've been with us the entire night, entire day. Anthony's been with us almost the entire 3.5 hours. I appreciate you, but I'm losing hope. I don't think it is. I mean, at what point is an hour and a half after the deadline is just egregious? I mean, AZ, they tell the reporters every year. Every Heat beat reporter has said that every year when the front office tells them when they're done talking to teams on a potential deal. And they haven't been told that, which is why we're still live. It's official. Shams Charania reported that Ben Simmons is getting bought out. Or they're working on a buyout. 30 seconds. $15 seconds. Ten, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. We still have over 800 people watching. You guys were absolutely legendary today. Wow. Great audience. Over 13,000 people in total. It was very fun. I'm happy with the moves Miami made. If they make another move to get underneath the luxury tax, cool. If they don't, also cool. Got a first-round pick. Got Davion Mitchell will help this team. They got Andrew Wiggins. Jimmy Butler's not returning to the roster. It's heartbreaking. It's sad, but the Heat needed to move off of him and move on, clean their hands. So I think to this point, good deadline for Miami. We'll see if one comes across the timeline over the next hour or so. If so, we'll have you covered with a video. We'll be making another video later today as well, regardless, but I will probably give it an hour or so to see if anything does actually come in. We're just not streaming anymore. We'll be live tomorrow for Heat Nets. If somehow if somehow Terry Rozier is the one that is traded and another trade is announced, we'll probably contemplate going live. So, appreciate everyone. See you all tomorrow with a live show. See you with a couple videos in between. Peace out, folks. Go Heat.